Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, the Sharks taking on Ulster. South Africa hosting quite a few games for this round of the URC, and this one in particular, I think took a lot of people's interest. The Sharks, they have got some big Springbok players back. Ulster, a fantastic win last week up against the Bulls, which makes this game that little bit more intriguing. But the way that the day started for these two sides is exactly this. Cardiff were sitting at the top of the bunch. Stormers in second. The Bulls, they were in fourth. Ulster in sixth. And the Sharks way down in 14th. Now they can do a lot of growing if they do get themselves the win here. And I feel like, at home with the box back, that's probably the bare minimum that they'll be after in this game. A bonus point would be exceptional, although Ulster have proven pretty difficult. They're actually undefeated at this stage of the competition, of course, having that postponement up against Edinburgh. But still plenty of excitement for this round of the URC. Looking through at the Sharks side, and yes, I said Sharks, not Springboks, even though there are a lot of them in this side. Oxenshare, Bongyo Manambi, and Vincent Koch, the all-Bok front row here for the Sharks in this contest. Eben Etzebeth, he slots in as the 4, with Marvin Ori, an ex-Springbok. He is there as the number 5. Sia Kolisi, Vincent Tichuka, and Pepsi Buthelezi, 3 men with Springbok experience. Of course, the Springbok skipper in the number 6 jersey. Grant Williams as the number 9, with Sia Masuku slotting in as the 10. Andre Esterhuizen in the midfield alongside Lorenzo Julius, who many call a future Springbok star. Makazole Mapimpi, Ethan Hooker, and Edwell van der Merwe, the 3 Boks at the back 3. But for Ulster, they have got Werner Koch, so they have got some sort of South African in there too, as well as Wano Augustus in the number 8 jersey, a recent signing for Ulster from the Saints. He's been phenomenal already throughout the early stages of his Ulster career. In the front row, it is Crean, Stewart, and Wilson. Henderson, the veteran, locking up with Sheridan there in the lock-in duo. McCann, Timoney, and Augustus, they make up the loose forward trio. Doak and Murphy will once again be that 9 and 10 combination, the same combo that they did use up against the Bulls last week. McCloskey in the midfield alongside Hume, and then Jacob Stockdale, he moves from 15 out to the left wing due to that injury of Robert Balakoon. It did look like a relatively serious one, and I still don't actually know the extent of the injury. I should also mention Cormac Chukwu, I should say, sorry. He is also out with the injury. And then Lowry, he will slot in as that number 15. We have got there the waving from Daryl. Welcome in. Hope you're doing very well. How's it? See, here's Yanko. Welcome in. And go the Sharks, says Bonita there. And that's a lethal 15 right there. It is. And they come in as heavy favourites. And I can't see a world. Like, that's the thing. Ulster did so well up against the Bulls while they were at home. I don't see how the Sharks, with a lineup like this, can lose this game in Durban. And if they did, there would be a lot of big questions and a lot of angry people if that was the case. We have got there Hauser Hamish, says Craig, welcome in. And also we have got there who's playing in the Stormers from the Springboks. So they have got Damien Valimza. They've got Sasha Feinberg, Ngome Zulu. I don't know if Reinach is going to be their starting 9. One moment, I'll quickly have a look. For the Stormers, no, they've got Nkura as the starting 9 and then also Khan off the bench. So no Kobus Reinach. So I believe just the 2 Boks, and then you've got Evan Ruiz in there as well, who hasn't quite made his way back in. Judging from the background, it's at Kings Park. It certainly is for this matchup. So the home field advantage for the Sharks here. And with you again from Johannesburg, as I am every Saturday, says Robert. And yeah, it was always great to see the familiar faces each and every week. We've got a bit of a gap from the URC after next week. We've got just the one more round before getting into those November internationals. Just going to be an absolutely hectic time in the world of rugby. Hi, all looking forward to this, says Martin, and great excitement here for Ulster's new look team. Yeah, I mean, up against the Bulls last week, that was expected to be a little bit closer. The Bulls had Andre Pollard at the helm. They had Willie LaRue in the side, and the list went on of great players. But they just couldn't quite convert into being able to be competitive with Ulster. We see it here from their last week's game, 28-7 up against the Bulls. Now, granted, they were at home, and we've learnt how much of a home advantage can be in this competition, but, the Bulls definitely still would have wanted to be closer than that. So I don't think the Sharks will be taking them lightly. This lineup also, I think, does prove that as well. They've gone with what I feel is close to the strongest possible in terms of that starting side. The bench doesn't get much easier either. They've still got some great players there. You've got Lucanio Arm, Jordan Hendrickse, and also Jaden Hendrickse there. Emmanuel Tichuka, Klakani. Like, this is about as stacked of a team you will see in a URC for a South African side. Can they get the win? It's a big question. As you can see, they come in as the big favourites. That has actually become even more so a favourite since I did get that picture there. For the Sharks, they have had 2 games in recent times. They were beaten badly by Leinster last week, so their confidence won't exactly be at an all-time high at this point in time. And then they had that draw up against the Dragons. So that is why they sit in 14th, with a lot of work to do if they want to climb towards that top 8 and also top 4 before we get into those playoff matches. If we lose, we are moving away from the stadium. See, it's a cool story there. And did you catch the Bulls game yesterday? Still not great, but far better than last week. I did get to see the highlights of the second half, as well as I actually watched the last about 20 minutes or so. Someone mentioned how they took their foot off the gas a bit, the Bulls, and I could see it. Connor, decent fight back from them, but the Bulls seemed like they were in control. They probably didn't think they were just going to win by 1, though. I think there was a little bit more confidence there, thinking it was going to be slightly bigger margin. And we have got their Sharks only favourites because of the box. Well, to be fair, the Springboks, they are thick and fast throughout the starting lineup. I believe the only guys who haven't had a Springbok kit in the last, let's say, 2 years is Jorenzo Julius, and he's had it in the under-20s, I believe. Marvin Ori, only because of the insane depth that they've got in the locking stocks, and then also Siamasuku hasn't had the chance. Everyone else has had a cap either this year or last year for the Springboks. In fact, a majority of them have had them this year with Rassi and all of the players he has used. We've got a guy in Ulster as well with Jano Augustus, who was in the squad, who hasn't been given that chance. It was a good ad for the 20-minute red card. Says Jimbo and Hey Bruce and Morne Brandon. Just had a pretty good game for the Lions when he came on. Says Yanko, yeah, it did seem like the Lions were at a little bit of cruise control up until those bench changes started happening, and then that last 10 or so minutes, by the looks of it, they just started piling on the pressure. This game only sitting 8 minutes away from starting up, ladies and gentlemen, between the Sharks and Ulster. I do want to know your score predictions in the comments, so be sure to get them in if you haven't already. I'm still undecided about what mine is for this match, just because these two sides, I would say that Ulster have momentum, but again, Sharks have home field advantage. Hi, Hamish and everyone. Hope all are well. Says Lilia, welcome in. Hope you're doing very well too. And couldn't agree more. They had a proper bomb squad, says Yanko. And that's right, we saw the game. It was the Bulls to lose. Says cool story. Yeah, so, I mean, any points at this stage of the competition is a massive plus. And any game at home, you want to get that bonus point. Or at least you get the 4 points. That is the bare minimum. Close one, Sharks by a try. Says Jimbo, I would accept that as long as it's slightly higher scoring. I feel like for our first game of the URC of the day covering on the channel, I wouldn't mind 50 points between the sides. Somewhere around that 27-23, that 24-26. I was trying to do the maths in my head. It took a little bit longer than I'd like. Did Zebra win any game this month? They beat the Lions, didn't they? Zebra in the end, they won. That was in round 2, yeah. On the 5th of October, South African time, Zebra managed to get themselves the win 22-20 over the Lions, who just had the win not too long ago. If the last kick got over from Connacht, they would have won, says a Tiger 11. And also Sharks 12, Ulster 5. We want a little bit higher scoring if we can than that, but it could happen. The thing is, both of these sides defensively should be pretty solid. And I do think that was one part of Ulster's game last week. They went a bit under the radar. They were very strong defensively up against the Bulls, not allowing those quick-fire counter-attack and tries from the Bulls' side. Sharks 47, Ulster 19. That's a high-scoring game. We don't mind one of those. And yeah, it is not too far away from taking place. Just the 5 minutes from the start of this match. Well, let's hope so, says Yanko there. And also, my cousins, what's up, says Wemma. Welcome in. Hope you're doing very well. And yeah, this game, it's the one of the weekend that I think I was the most excited for. And I'm hoping it lives up to expectations. Because if it doesn't, then I'll be slightly sad, because I thought this had a great chance of being a great game. Although I will mention my match of the weekend still has not taken place as of yet. I believe the best match of the week is going to be Ospreys versus Glasgow. Not sure why. And also, to be fair, there was the 1 point game between the Bulls and Connacht. 7 point game between Cardiff and the Dragons. So I feel like it's still wide open. Both sides. They will be ready to go in Durban. It is an overcast Durban for this match. Could happen, Lilia. Teams just off the plane don't go very well. And Sharks 38 to the 31, says Ruth. And okay then, Sharks 12, Ulster 50. Geez, you've gone from Ulster scoring 5 to adding a 0 on the end. That would be an impressive away win. Like, even winning away from home by less than that 7 is impressive in the URC. But if they were able to somehow do it by more than that 7 points, stop the Sharks from getting a bonus, like, that would be absolutely huge for them. Connacht should have won. Says Martin, yeah, they were close. And I do think that had they just started or got going a little bit earlier in that game, I think they just left it a bit late in that match. They make today a national holiday in Ireland. If that happened, the Sharks will dominate this match, says Waldo. So what is your score prediction, Waldo? Do let us know. We've had some people going close. We've had some one-sided matches too, so do let us know. Ospreys is the one Welsh team that can take any URC team down, says Wemma. And 2 goes at the final kick, says Martin. And the pressure will be on. Rassi will be watching. He certainly will be. They've got the big Sharks flags on the stands. It kind of looks like it might rain. I'm just looking at that big cloud in the background. It's pretty dark looking. Looks like it's moving quite quickly though, and it might be hopefully moving away to the side of the stadium. Who needs to win a quarterfinal if you can beat a Springbok-studded Sharks side at home? Says Yanko there in 29-10. It's the prediction from Waldo. So is that with a bonus point for the Sharks too, Waldo, for their 4 or more tries? I assume that it would be in that case. And we have got there also, hi everyone, hope the Sharks can do it today, says Sakabula. And out there as well, but both sides just about to make their way out of the tunnel. Like I said, a highly anticipated clash between these two sides. Overcast, 25 degrees Celsius. So I don't... Oh. Okay, no rain expected. Hopefully it stays that way, is the comment from the commentator. So hopefully he's right. And the rain does end up staying away for this contest. But the Springbok-studded Sharks about to make their way out of the tunnel. They are just showing the lineup once again, and we will do the same, ladies and gents. Across this whole starting lineup, you can count 13 or so Springboks from just the recent couple years, if you do count the under-20s, for the likes of a Lorenzo Julius. But in the front row, Oxford Share, Bongio Manambi, and also Vincent Koch as that number 3 option. In the locking duo, Eben Etzebeth, alongside Marvin Ori, Sio Kolisi. He is slotting in at 6 with Vincent Tuchuka in the loose ball trio. Now, he's been in some pretty good form. He did play lock in the last contest to Chuka, but 2 games in a row where he was playing 8, he was able to score himself tries first 2 rounds of the URC. Pepsi Butalazy, he was slotted in as the 8. Grant Williams and Sia Masuku as that 9 and 10 combination. I'm about to sneeze again. One moment. We will quickly mute. We are good. Hopefully. And won't sneeze again. Andre Esterhuizen and Lorenzo Julius in the midfield. Makazole Mapimpi, Ethan Hooker, and also Edward van der Merwe slotting in as that number 15 option. Quite a few changes here for Ulster, mainly due to the injuries that we did see last week, although Tom Stewart does come in as the starting 2 for this match. Wano Augustus, he keeps the spot as the 8, and he is definitely one keep an eye on for this contest. Michael Lowry into 15. Stockdale moves out to the left due to the injury of Robert Balakoon, and also we see Werner Koch coming in out on the wing as well. So back up against his old side. And Henderson getting told that he is allowed to walk out onto the field by the referee. So the away side now. I think I heard 3 people clapping for Ulster there. Oh no, there's one little section of the Ulster supporters, and they would love nothing more than an away win here. Ian Henderson, will he find himself in an Irish side going into the November internationals? I think he's almost retired from international rugby, isn't he, Ian Henderson? I always get him and who's the other fella? I don't think I'm thinking of James Ryan, but there's another fella. We have got the stupid sexy hooker says, no, I assume you're talking about Ethan Hooker there. Bless your Hamish, says Stephanie. And also, I absolutely love the local language commentary option on URC TV, says Yanko. Good afternoon, Hamish. I'm sorry, but a highly anticipated game, says Fleshin. Yeah, it should be a good one between these two sides. Plus, you still have the Leinster versus Munster derby too later, says Tiger 11. That is true. Now, I've actually decided that I am just going to be watching that one. Believe it or not, we were initially going to be doing the coverage for it, but instead I am just going to be watching it alongside doing a few bits and bobs. Getting ready for later on today. He's a worn-out workhorse, Hendo. Says Jimbo. I count 13 bot caps in the Sharks team, says Robert. There's plenty of them, that is for sure. And then you look at someone like a Dorenzo Julius and a Sia Masuku. You could argue that those two are future Springboks, so then you've got all 15 across the lineup. You can add Thomas Datoy on that list for the Sharks next season, says Tiger 11, absolutely. And you can add a few more names off of the bench for the Sharks too. They have got the Hendrickse brothers. Lucanio Arm is there. Klakane, who's a future Bok. But Ben Whitehouse, he'll be the referee in charge of this one. Sharks will win 35 points to 12 as Patrick's prediction. We're almost ready to go for this match, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks kicking off from left to right in front of the Durban home crowd. Can they get the job done here? Sia Masuku ready to kick this one off, and we are underway for another match in the URC. This one's going to be a big one between these two sides, but Masuku gets us underway. And Wano Augustus with the first touch of the match for Ulster. Cape Town weather is weird. You get hot summer weather 1 minute, and the next minute it is raining. Says Arno. Yeah, it certainly keeps you on your toes, that is for sure. What's your prediction? I got too scared to give one because I feel like I'm going to jinx the Sharks if I say they're going to win by 15. And I don't know if they will because Ulster have looked pretty solid this year, and that's a good kick downfield from Ulster. We're inside of their 22 by Doak, who's not happy with the angle already. Now, the best thing that you can do if you're Doak is not be happy, but don't yell at the touch judge, which he has already done. He's broken rule number 1 as a halfback because guess what? Touch judge is giving you a lot less meters now. Henderson is mostly a bench player, says Tiger 11. Now ready to throw this one in for Bongyum Banambi. Back in the Sharks kit for this match. He was off the bench last week alongside Vincent Koch. Both men on the starting side, and the first line out is stolen by Ulster. Deciding to go to the front there, and Etzebeth getting stepped by Jacob Stockdale. A few mistakes in a row by the Springboks, although to be fair, there are enough Springboks in the starting lineup that it will be a bit of an adjustment period. Love your chat, Amish, from St. Francis Bay. And that was from Craig. Ball's freaking me out so far this season. Way too close, hope all as well. And Ulster to win. Popular statement, I'm sure, says Bruce. And there too, this one's going to be a kick downfield. Come on, Ulster, you can do it. So here's Connor, taken by Ethan Hooker. Runs it straight at Timony, who does take him down. 40 metres out from their own line. Grant Williams goes back across to the left-hand side. Finds the hands of Marvin O'Ree. Ball is stripped, and Ulster, little kick in behind. Attempted. This one will be far too deep, though. And they'll have to go right back to where it was kicked from, but just a little sneaky move there. We have Kadesh to tell me, Hamish, why did you cover the Lions Scarlets match? Is the workload too heavy for you? I assume you're meaning not covering. But yeah, I decided to get about, I think it was 2.5 hours sleep, seeing as I was up since 6:30 a.m. taking junior cricket and then also playing cricket myself. So it was either going to be try and sleep during that window or hope not to fall asleep by the later stages of today. And I wanted to have that little bit of extra energy for these two streams, Sharks, Ulster, as well as Zebre Stormers, so I had to go for the rest instead. Plus, I thought the Lions would win that game a little bit closer. A little bit more one-sided on the score sheet, so I thought I was going to be all right not covering it, and then they almost butchered it. Looks like Marvin O'Ree already got the bloody nose. We're only 2 minutes into this contest. Looks like he's just done what they normally recommend you don't do with a nose injury, and that is to try and blow it. Sometimes that can cause all sorts of problems and swelling, but luckily for him, I think it's just a knock on the tip of the nose. Looks like we're just about ready to go for this scrum. But a good start to the match for Ulster, getting themselves that strip of the ball, also a line-out steal, but it's whether or not they can put it all together for long enough here. The Sharks will be a bit rusty for the very start of this game, just because of all the changes. But as soon as they find their rhythm, that's when it gets dangerous. And also, I will mention, as soon as they get this first scrum going, that is danger too, when you've got pretty much that all-Bok pack going up against this Ulster pack in the game. But first scrum, Oxen Sheh going head to head with Scott Wilson here. Now, Wilson was given it a little bit of lip last week up against the Bulls. So I feel like the Ox will try and put them in the right direction. They've both gone down in the front row. On the near side this time with Vincent Koch alongside Kreen. And Doak Key to Ulster going forward. The commentator, I've missed you. I lost my phone, says Kwandile. Well, hopefully... Wait, so you've lost your phone and you still haven't found it, Kwandile? So hopefully you are able to find it somewhere. Trust me, Hamish, you didn't miss anything. We're not doing the Scarlets-Lions game. Two poor teams. Says Fletching, go the Sharks, says Daryl, who was playing in the NPC final. I presume the final is next week. Yeah, it's going to be Canterbury versus Otago. And it takes place at the same time as Japan versus Australia, so we can't actually cover it on the channel. But we will be doing a bit of a co-commentary situation. Hi, Hamish, says Daryl. Welcome in again. Grant Williams, ready to feed this ball into the scrum, which is still waiting to take place. Going to be a bit of a feeling out process. I found it now. Says Kwandile, sounds a little bit like my wallet. I lost it earlier today. Penalty goes the way of the Sharks, and luckily I found it because the rest of that is a hassle and a half trying to sort out a new wallet. Hello, Hamish, says Marion. Welcome in. And hi, Hamish and all, says Rhea. And there too. So that penalty is going against Scott Wilson up against Oxenshire. This is a part of the game that the Sharks will try and utilise all throughout the 80 minutes. Get that scrum going early and just slowly keep on building that pressure up. Like they've said, a good start to this match here for the Sharks. It's set piece in terms of the scrum, not so much in terms of the line-out. That first line-out went astray. And also, look in your pocket. Sometimes they hide themselves in there. No, it was in my cricket bag. So I think what happened was I put it into the bag because I was running late. And then I got to cricket and went, oh no, I haven't got my wallet, but I have to play anyway. And then forgot about where I put it. So, a bit of a blunder on my part. Is it true All Blacks tour South Africa next year? It is. So, no Rugby Championship in 2026 and a full-length Rugby Championship in 2027. Knock on from the Sharks. Here comes Werner Koch trying to fend off Grant Williams, who wrestles him to the ground. Thank you for sharing the game with us, says Yuri. No worries at all. We have still got Zebra versus Stormers later on tonight that I am going to be covering on the channel as well. Doak now rolling this one back again. Been told to use it. Such a key part of the game last week. Up against the Bulls, running onto the Sia Masuku, but Werner Koch manages to win the aerial battle. Ulster now have possession round the halfway line. My pulled hip muscle makes me feel like I got the flu, which is kind of fun, but not loads of fun. So what part of having the flu is fun? Cool story. I'm not quite sure what you mean. But our little step there from McCluskey up to the halfway line, offloads to Doak. Now wide cutout pass, going to Jacob Stockdale, a solid ball runner. Out on the wing, he sat down to Renzo Julius. Now offload to Lowry, one more pass to Nathan Doak. Ball on the inside. Lowry scores it and Ulster away from home get the first try of this contest. Are there any overlaps to the NPC final? If it is, it will be a pity. Yeah, so it overlaps directly with Japan versus Australia. But the whiskey bit is fun. Says Jimbo. But that is a great set piece. Or not even a set piece per se, but just great passing. Keeping the ball alive from Ulster. And just the draw and pass is perfect in that build-up. And while Thundermerva unable to retreat back fast enough. A very good start to this match for the away side. This is why I got hesitant saying Sharks by the 15. We saw number 15 for Ulster and Shane Lowry get the try. What time did Cheslin play? I think he's playing in Japan, isn't he, this season? If I am correct. And Ulster try, says Purple Dragon Universe. So yeah, the early start coming here for Ulster. Jacob Stockdale luring in two defenders. Lorenzo Julius was pretty slow getting back up, but again, Nathan Doak with that beautiful support run. I wonder how the Box and the AB sold that tour to the Aussies and Argentinians on the Sanzar board meeting. Yeah, by the sounds of it, didn't go down well. I think Argentina weren't very happy, which is understandable, really, when you consider the fact that, like, for those two countries now, they're probably going to lose out on a lot of the Rugby Championship revenue they would have got. We have good there, Lilia. Talk to your team, get them fired up, says Ruth. And also, okay, so it's going to say, or either say 5 or go to 50 for Ulster. Yeah, they are on 7 at the moment, almost charged down by Eben Etzebeth. In fact, it was partially, so now ball in the hands of Pepsi Buthelezi, playing at number 8. Has been 6 a couple times already this season in the early stages. Now backline movement. Lorenzo Julius had Sio Kolisi with him. Wasn't able to get the pass away. Werner Koch, good physicality in the breakdown with Makazole Mapimpi and a big 2-man tackle on Vincent Tichuca driving him backwards. Now quick hands, Lorenzo Julius, Sio Kolisi, ball on the outside, Andre Estes, and sits down McCluskey, who's got a smile on his face as he retreats back onside. It's always going to be tough to be able to shut down Estes when he gets any sort of space in this game, especially out on the wing. Big run from Eben Etzebeth, gets wrestled down by Doak. Sharks move up to 25 metres out from the line, advantage in favour of the Sharks side with Pepsi Buthelezi, who's knocked it on. One of the South African teams would join the Super Rugby Pacific. It wouldn't be interesting. Says Kwandili, it would be, but I don't think they'd ever do it while they're in the URC just because of the pure amount of rugby that they are playing. Unless you're talking about like the Cheetahs and the Rikwas maybe, then that's maybe a bit more likely. It doesn't matter how many box the Sharks have. They always underperform. On paper, they should be the best club team in the world. Yeah, I mentioned about it. The most stacked lineup I think we'll see from any side pretty much anywhere around the world for this URC competition. But, you know, it was always going to take a little bit of time to adjust, and they're getting there now. Now, they've turned down their easy 3 points here, the Sharks, so that shows you that mentality of the Sharks now. Makazole Mapimpi, he's waiting way out on the wing for this one. Nicely taken by Pepsi Buthelezi. Penalty goes to Ulster. It was the early engagement from the Sharks. Who scored for Ulster was Michael Lowry, who managed to score himself the try, although it really was a team try. The assist for Doak, the run initially from, I believe it was Jacob Stockdale, as well as Lowry getting back involved. Like, it was really well done by Ulster. All the backs having a part to play, and Andre Easthuizen is not easiest to tackle. Just ask the All Blacks. Says Mornay, just ask anyone, really. Andre Easthuizen's run over most of them. And Ulster discipline at the moment better. Says Ruth. So infuriating that cheap offside pen, says Jimbo there too, and Tiger 11. And they are going to play the 4th test outside of South Africa. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be in England more than likely. Perhaps Twickenham could be that location. And now sitting 25 metres out from the line, the Sharks once again in position. The good news for them is Ulster did clear their lines after winning the penalty, and then didn't quite get a right little knock on there from Ian Henderson. Back to Sia Masuku, looking for the cross kick. Ethan Huka, it's over his head, and they'll go back there for the scrum. Yep, says Rhea. We have there, who was the Sharks' best player in the 22. Not that it matters for how the Sharks work. I would say most informed, that's actually a tricky one. Most informed player in this whole Sharks starting side, I would have to argue, is actually Andre Easthuizen. Okay, they played the 9 there, so the penalty will actually go to the Sharks rather than being the knock-on like it was going to be. They once again have got the option of going for the 3 points. Sia Masuku, long chat here with, that is Oxen Share, who is telling him go for the post. That's an interesting call from the prop, but I think it's the right choice in this scenario. It's going to use up a couple extra moments. Oxen Share, yeah. He was the one who was kind of having a bit of a chat. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. You were talking about in terms of inform. Yeah. He's definitely up there too, Oxen Share, at the moment. And I guess if you're looking at consistent minutes, Ox is up there. Like, we haven't seen Andre Easthuizen get more than a bench spot since they were trying to play him at blindside. So, yeah, it's probably the Ox. Eben's going into contact very high nowadays, maybe because of this his previous head injuries. Not making those meters anymore, says Sakabola. Oh, and speaking of not making it, they have missed that kick, the Sharks. We have that sexiest runner in the Sharks team, Ethan Streetwalker, having condemned the money grab. I'm going to try and see the Box play Japan at Wembley, £35 a ticket, says Bleshin. I still have no idea who did the scheduling for those matches next week. The fact that England are playing Australia in England and Springboks are playing Japan in England as well, and they overlap, just makes no sense to me. You know, like, even if they were an hour apart, that's surely easier, isn't it? rather than having 2 games. Because that's the thing, we would have loved to cover both of them. And I'm probably going to have to try and dig deep into the bag of guests that we can find for one of those extra runs. Little knock on there from the Sharks around the halfway line. Does mean that Ulster do get themselves another scrum. The question is, will the Sharks beat Toulouse in the first round of the Champions Cup? That game's in Toulouse, isn't it? That one. So that will be very tough. 2 weeks to that Japan. Wait, is it? Oh, yeah, sorry. 2 weeks. And it still does overlap. My apologies. I got me dates around the wrong way. But yeah, it overlaps with Australia versus England for that match in 2 weeks' time. 1 second. We'll go back here. Go here as well. Hopefully it will work. Yeah, Italy. Oh, sorry, not Italy versus Australia. We'll go up there. South Africa, Japan at 5:10. England versus Australia 4:10 for us, unfortunately. When did too much baked beans? And come on, Ulster, says Bruce. That scrum has gone down, but the ball comes out the back for 1-0 Augustus. Fires it across to Jacob Stockdale. Finds the offload. Bit of an awkward one for Michael Lowry. He's going to try and pierce his way through. Ipsabeth misses another tackle. It's about his second or third already in the early stages. So you're doing Australia or the Springboks. So I personally will end up doing South Africa, Japan. It's just whether or not I can find someone to cover. If I do go, I'll give you a WhatsApp shout. See, there's Fletcher in there too. Yeah, be sure to take plenty of photos and whatnot, and we might be able to chuck them up on the screen. Now another advantage going against Eben Etzebeth. Now pass back across to Tom Stewart. I mate, hope you're well, says Regine, doing very well. Excited for this game as well as the one later on between Zebra and the Stormers. Now breaking the line again. Good run from Nick Timoney. As a ball supporter, I'm rooting for Ulster, says Robert there. Rush defence from Siokolesis. The under penalty advantage here for the Ulstermen. So they have got something to fall back on if it does go slightly wrong. They aren't making a huge amount of meters just for now, so they will go back for that penalty. And they can now take that 3 points. Get themselves the 10-point lead. Mate means at lunch for a bubble bath at night, says Wemma. There you go. The most stacked clubs, I'd say 1 Leinster, 2 Toulouse, 3 Crusaders, 4 Sharks. See, the thing is, though, the Crusaders, I would say, aren't as stacked as they used to be because they lost about 11 All Blacks 2 seasons ago. So, looking through at them now, they've kind of got a few more of those younger guys being expected to do well, likes of a Noah Hotham, and they didn't have Whainā Nuku last year, although they will have him now, this year, but they will have him for next, I believe. Doka's going to call for the 3 points as a box supporter. I'm rooting for the Sharks. See Sakabola. And also will be at home in this weather. And Ben Whitehouse is the referee, Hans, for this contest. I'm not sure who's on TMO, though, for this game. Career points so far for Nathan Doki is sitting on 330. Could turn it into 333 if he does convert this one over. And when it's the All Blacks 15 playing, they are playing up against the Barbarians in 2 weeks' time. And that game only just happens before England-Australia as well. But yeah, that'll be a very good one to watch. And ready to strike up a Doak. That one just sneaking over. He almost missed it like Masuku, but the score does become 10 points to 0 in favour of Ulster. Talking about a $6 underdog here, ladies and gentlemen. Now they are $2.25 underdogs and considered with much more of a chance in this matchup. Both sides willing to go for those 3-pointers though, but the difference is Ulster have got their points at this stage. And one's going to be kicked off long, awkward one for Williano Augustus. They've said it's gone backwards here, but it's a Beth. Oh, he's going to be held up. The big man almost had a golden opportunity to score. It almost looked like there was a slight bit of hesitation. And he was trying to decide whether or not he needed to pierce through a defender or just run at the line. If he had dropped his head, he may have scored at the Etzebeth. But it is going to be advantage over for the knock-on, so it does become a goal line dropout here for Ulster. But a golden opportunity there for the Sharks gone. I'd rather kick up the butt than a bean boost, says Hans there, and don't know how to ring your bell roof. I didn't reply to your comments, says Robert. And I was like, come on, Ulster, it worked last time, so close, says Sakabola. And the Sharks is where we send the old legend to die. Says Martin nicely taken around the halfway line. Sia Masuku going now to Vincent Echuka, who sits down Nathan Doak. Let's go Plumtree, you clown, says WLK. There's not many people happy with Plumtree at the moment, it would seem. That one's going to go high. Oh, that one's going backwards with the swirling breeze, but nicely taken by Ethan Hooker on the halfway line. Already 18 minutes gone in this match. There, Masuku going out wide to Lorenzo Julius. He's knocked it on, but they will go back for the initial advantage. Okay, one of the commentators there has just said to both teams, it's not hard to stay on side, but both sides have struggled with it in the early stages. Right, Masuku, this is another chance to go for 3 if they want it, and they do. Eyeing up the posts. Why don't the Sharks pretend they're wearing Springbok jerseys for a few minutes? Says Cool Story. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but as soon as they put on a Sharks cap, their handling goes down the gurgler. Like, we're seeing guys who would normally catch the ball 95% of the time at international level drop. Well, to be fair, they did have a little patch, the Springboks, where there were quite a few handling errors. So maybe it just works better for the Boks and it's just less noticeable because they're also getting those big points too. You guys should eat your beans with Epicuck sauce. You'll have to make your own. It's banned. Oh, that one's going to be hit in the post for Masuku. And again, the opportunity gone for the Sharks to score points. So they, for me, have lost 13 points already in this contest. That try should have been one for Eben Etzebeth had he been able to get a grounding, and then missing 2 3-pointers already. I'm happy with Plumtree. I'm not a Sharks supporter. They only, they need to wear the Bok jersey for the whole match. It's kicked downfield, but too much again from Ulster. This one, it's going to just about pull up. That is fortunate for Ulster. Was that ball even put down by Sia Masuku? That was an interesting one. It almost looked like he didn't actually put a grounding in. He just kind of picked the ball up. So Michael Lowry, there was almost a bit of push and shove afterwards. A frustrated Masuku, seeing as he's missed all of his kicks at the post at this point in time. But, yeah, it didn't look like there was a clear act of grounding the ball. It was just more so he picked it up and then said, yep, goal line dropout. Why do the Sharks play bad? But if Springboks play, they win. Says Mohadina. It's a great question. Nice step from Jano Augustus, making his way up to 22 metres out from the line. Doak going back across to the right-hand side. Skip past there, in behind McCluskey. 2-man tackle, still got his offload away to Michael Lowry, who offloads to Vincent Cock. Gets round the outside. 2 missed tackles. Ulster get another, and they lead by 15 now. But Werner Cock carving through the defence like it's a Christmas dinner. We have got there as the stuff they use to give patients for with alcohol poisoning to induce vomit. Wait, so surely that doesn't go well with food, does it? And cool story, neither have I. This is incredible work by Ulster here again. And the fact that they were so close down the other end to go 100 metres to now concede. Missed all the games last night. Flew. Did I miss much, says Dennis? Oh, I can actually help you out, Dennis, because just in case, not just in case you were sick with the flu, but I do have the results here. So close game between the Bulls and Connacht. And then Cardiff versus Dragons, relatively close between the two Welsh sides. And then Edinburgh versus Benetton was anything but close. But that kick has gone over from Nathan Doak. Ulster leads 17-0, ladies and gentlemen, in this game. But Michael Lowry, it's the offloading game. And then Andre Estesen beat him for pace down the wing. Masuku was beaten for pace with the step of Vincent Cock, with Werner Cock, I should say. And then just goes through, manages to score the try. Come on, Ulster, see it worked again. I assume the obvious answer is the coach. Says Fletch in there, and Sharks are getting old. And also we've got there, Bongi is also making it hard to defend from the critics. Says Yanko now backline movement here for the Sharks. We're currently down by the 17 points. Ulster have 2 tries and working their way towards the bonus, and that is going to be a mistake again in the wide channel. Lorenzo Julius driven into touch by Werner Cock. Leads to the Ulster line out. Anyone who lend me a spade, they can dig a hole for myself, says Craig. And also we have got there coming the Sharks, says the Hobbit, and the Springboks better than Sharks. You'd have to say yes at this stage. But that one's going to be nicely taken. The front by David McCann. And the Sharks need a new training staff. And oh my gosh, here we go, Lions and the Sharks this season, says Cool Story. Now ready to put the box kick up for Nathan Doak. Had a good start to this contest. Nice take for the Makazole Mapimpi, but again, the physicality of McCluskey as well as Cock coming right in there. While the Sharks play their money on these players who have no energy to play for their club side is beyond me. C.S. Fleshin. Crusaders better than the All Blacks. I mean, I'd say no, but they've been more consistent, you could argue, than the All Blacks, with the exception of that one season not too long ago. That one's going to be knocked on by Makazole Mapimpi. So it does mean that once again, Ulster are going to have themselves the ball. Plumtree was awesome once upon a time, but he has no vision, says Mike. And also we have got there as Werner Koch, an old Sharks player. He is. So to score up against your old side, it's just that little bit of an extra statement there. Nudge that scoreboard. And for the future, says Mike. Okay, it sounds like they have got the option of a scrum or a line out here for the Sharks, as it was not a straight throw from Ulster. And I'll say it right now. The Sharks, the only way they win this game is if they can get a whole heap of scrums, because that is where they are dominant. That is where they can work their way back into this game and eventually try and get to that rhythm where they do want to play. But if they can't do that, it just feels like this game, it looks like some of them are already very frustrated out there on the field. Rassi must captain the Sharks. Captain or coach? We have got there, is this the point of the game where I remind Sharks fans the Barna try in the 2007 Super Rugby final, says Arno. Now Grant Williams ready to feed this ball in. And here comes the big scrum from the Sharks. Penalty advantage. That is what they're going to have to milk all day, every day in this contest. And it's another knock on the attack, this time put down by Edward van der Merwe. Crowd look depressed. They will be. 17-0 for the home side, who came in as big favourites and were expected to win this game by around that 10-12. And currently they sit down by 17. And they've already missed 2 kicks, missed a golden opportunity to score. But the good news is they now look like they are going for the corner. Starting to go that little bit more aggressive here, the Sharks. Yes, Werner was a Sharks, but he left. And now he plays much better. Same for Evan Roos. Everybody who leaves the Sharks does better. Plumtree is clueless. Says WLK. On paper, the Sharks, that was close to kicking it dead for Sia Masuku. He does not look happy at the moment, the number 10, and that's not what you want. You want a guy who's playing with a little bit of confidence, but he looks like he's having the worst time of his life. And Van der Merwe, come on boys, says Ruth. But yeah, on paper, the Sharks should be number 2 in the contest, says John Wick. Really? On paper, when you got 13 Springboks, you'd say that they're the second best on the paper. I would say, based off the way that they're playing, Ulster are certainly number 1. But in terms of the experience of that Shark side, you'd have to give it to them as the number 1 on the paper. We look at their Plumtree is huge physically. Do you know that, Amish? It'd be better playing for the Sharks. Is the Ulster 14 Cock? Or is it South Africa? He seems to have a point to prove. Yeah, so he has kind of done his stint for them. He also was very good on the 7th circuit back in the day. Ulster in the breakdown again. Just not getting that clean out. And David McCann manages to steal it again. We have got there. They're playing on grass, though, not paper, says Bruce. That is great work from David McCann. And again, they just survive here, Ulster. Well, I don't even know if you can call it surviving at the moment. It doesn't show how great Rassi is. It shows how clueless Plumtree is. Says WLK, and loved Andre Jalbert. And also, come on, Ulster, show these guys rugby over here. Still kicking good. Thanks for the update. You're great. Keep doing this. We lost only for you. Says Dennis Aaron. We have got that game later on tonight between Zebra as well as the Stormers. Now, the initial plan was going to be covering Leinster and Munster's derby. But I am going to be watching that one alongside getting a few things done ready for that next stream, as well as just ready for a busy week. I got a little bit of cricket stuff to get done in terms of the admin side of things for the junior team. And Stormers playing at home, Hamish says, cool story. No, they are on the road. Although, as we're seeing here, home field advantage sometimes can be a little bit rough. Out throwing it in, nicely taken by Ulster once more. Nathan Doak back across to the right-hand side. Big collision there And a big driving bit of work there from Pepsi Buthelezi, trying to make a bit of a statement there. But the statement at the moment is on that scoreboard. McCloskey has made his way off the field, and that is going to be for Postlethwaite. Makes his way on. And out of the Sharks says Marion. And a friend's in school, surname was McCann. Says Ruth. Now nicely taken Edward Fundermerva, 25 metres out from the line. Ethan Hooker looking to get involved. He's going to be wrestled down by James Hume. Already 28 minutes through this game. Makazole Mapimpi. And he could have been playing a lot more consistently for the Sharks, seeing as he hasn't been given a lot of box time as of late. Vincent Tichuka trying to get through that tackle attempt to Sam Crean. And Stormers will still win, home or away, says Bruce. And the weather is better than the Sharks, so that's something at least. Now down to the halfway line. Werner Koch just bumping out of the tackle of Makazole Mapimpi up to halfway. Nathan Doak popping it in behind Stewart. Now the back line moving again. It's very good defence from the Sharks there, though. Rushing up early and shutting down the chance of the shoveling on of the ball. Nathan Doak. Stewart this time now trying to do the same tactic here. The Sharks. It's worked yet again. And going Ulster. However, sorry, Ruth, I don't know how to reply on these comments stream. I think for your emoji says, Robert, to be fair, you're not the only one, Robert. When Ruth starts talking about the whipped cream and all sorts, it's always a tricky one to know what to say. But Edward Fundermerva, short side, and 50 metres out from the line, just 5 metres from the far touchline, 11 minutes remaining in the half. Andre Estes and passes across to Lorenzo Julius. He cuts through, but just can't quite break that last tackle. Offloads to Estes, and who offloads to Williams, who goes to Etzebeth, and he's knocked it on, which ruins another attacking move for the Sharks. You can see there a guy with his hand going like that. He is not happy in the stands. Neither are 95% of the Sharks supporters at the moment. The other 5 are just happy to be there. We have got there the Sharks play for the money, not for the badge. They don't respect that badge because most of them are not from KZN. The Sharks only buy from other regions. Develop nothing. And oh dear, Sharks, says Stephanie. But again, a great attacking chance. Just going through their hands though. Okay, by the sounds of it, someone was just getting a warning about charging down a little bit too early. I think Eben has already retired. I'll be honest, I think that so far, of course, early days, but this is probably one of the... See, I don't like saying it because he's the most kept Springbok of all time, but this is probably the worst Eben Etzebeth performance I have seen him have in years. And we're only 29 minutes in, so it can only get better from here, I hope. But, you know, he's had an offside penalty against him. There was a chance of scoring, but he didn't get it right. And I think that a lot of locks would have been able to score that try from where he was. There was also the knock-on earlier, not able to win that front line out. And the knock-on just then too. So he's had a bit of a shaky start to this one, unfortunately. I keep it up. Evans, Russ is watching. And the Shark says, hey, no there. Hamish is also commentary bomb, says Ruth. And now scrum feed this time for Ulster. Tackles made so far, 38 for Ulster, missing the 7. Sharks have made 29 tackles. They have missed the 11 throughout this game. Already 30 minutes has passed. It's going quick, and it will continue to do so for the Sharks. But they, last year, I have to mention those later rounds, they were the comeback kings. And, you know, they're going to need it here. I just want to have a quick look at a couple of those games near the end of last season, because they did have multiple times where they looked like they were out of a game and then came back. Hey, even come back to Western's for the Stormers. Khaleesi also been very quiet, says Daryl. Yeah, I can't think of a Khaleesi. Oh, actually, he had one carry earlier on. But I think other than that, we haven't really seen too many for the skipper. Yeah, throughout last year, they actually managed to beat Ulster 22-19. I've found a stat, ladies and gents, and I'm very excited about it. Last time these two sides played, halftime score 19-5 in favour of Ulster. Then the Sharks went on to score 2 tries, 2 penalties to win that game by 3. Eamon is in his early 30s. he's not retiring anytime soon. It would be injury-based for Etzebeth. I know that they talked about it. Last head knock that he took, he actually said that he was thinking about hanging up the boots just because it wasn't looking good. But he's decided to keep on going. Didn't even realise Seal was on the pitch. That penalty goes against Ulster. I've had enough. I think I'll go to the pub and get drunk instead of watching the shambles. Saw ahead in the morning. By the looks of it, says Jamie Hall. And Sharks look like it's their first game of the season. I don't eat beans because I'm a lady. Hamish knows what I mean. I really don't. I got my Nutella ready. Twan to pop. We'll be back soon. So here's Ruth by Sia Masuku, who will kick this one into touch. So I guess looking at that, Jacob Stockdale, he got a yellow card last time these two sides played in the 33rd minute. So there's a chance. As ever, a home advantage. As not as a cauldron, as other home stadiums, easy wins happen. Says Tiger 11. True, although the Lions couldn't get it done when they faced Zebra. And other than the fact that the siren goes off every 5 seconds for the hospital nearby, it looks like they're starting to build a bit of an atmosphere. Here comes a rolling ball from the Sharks. Ethan Hooker joining in there too. This should be a try here for the Sharks. Going off, there's Seo Kolesi. And he will score the try for the Sharks, one of his first touches of the day. But it's an all-important one for the Springboks captain. The Sharks have a lot of power, but no smart decisions, coached by a high school coach. We have got there something in Afrikaans, which I do not know. And Hooker and Pepsi is the only local boys in the Sharks starting 15. That is try time there for the Sharks. I should have never slagged Sear. Yeah, it seems like maybe jinxed him a little bit there. As soon as we said, nah, haven't seen him, gets himself the try. We have got there, I feel sorry for the Sharks. They have to get back on the plane to rejoin the bot squad. They might be so over the Johannesburg-London flight. It's a long trip. And to do it multiple times, that's another missed kick for Sia Masuku. Normally a man who's so safe off a kicking tee has been anything but for this contest. So far missing out on a total of, I believe it would be 8 points. We will quickly do this. We will go like this. We will go like that as well. There we go. I was just checking to see whether or not Rassi had said that he was announcing a side, but it doesn't look like it has been announced yet. Okay, I wasn't aware of the even injury concerns. Well, that sucks. It does. Because if it wasn't for injuries, he could probably get close to around that 130, 140 caps, if not even close to 150, had it not been for those knocks. But sadly, he's probably only one big head knock away from actually deciding to retire, which is a bit of a concern. And Sia can't save the Sharks on his own, says Albert. And come on, Sharks, move your asses, says Yolan. It looks like a Rico Ioane picture as well, is it? As your profile picture? Yes, it is. Rico Ioane. And now running up to the halfway line. Of course, Ioane will be taking on the URC a little bit later on in the year for Leinster. When did the team leave for England? I don't actually know. It's quite late, though, by the looks of it. Like, I'd assume it's some stage next week. Sharks is like the French Foreign Legion. They are all just there for the money, says WLK. Oh, drop ball from Ethan Hooker. And it is back in the hands of Ulster now. 35 minutes gone. They've got themselves the position 35 metres out from the Sharks line. Oxenshire trying to get the turnover, but couldn't quite. Eben Etzebeth makes the tackle. Doak going back across to the right again. Little stutter step from Michael Lowry. The Sharks' defence in the last, I would say, 10 minutes or so has looked stronger than it was in the early stages, perhaps starting to get that cohesion back. Being told to leave it in the breakdown. Doak drops it, but it goes backwards. Now it's gone forwards. And he's played that one on the ground too. That should have been a penalty in favour of the Sharks. In fact, I think the ref, a little bit of push and shove there. Marvin O'Ree and James Hume just having a bit of a back and forth. Hamish, can you believe that Bafana qualified for the World Cup? It is great to see. I know that it is going to be quite a hectic World Cup with the amount of teams that are involved in it, but yeah, it will be intriguing to see what they can do. And depending on when it has taken place, perhaps we can try and cover some of those games for South Africa and New Zealand. Oh, okay, so it was going to be the ball for the Sharks, but they're actually going to go back and now penalise the Sharks against Vincent Tichuka. And that is going to go in favour of Ulster, who are going to line up an extra 3 points. So we'll put the lead back to 15. Wag your shark fins. Even offside penalty machine, says Jimbo, although they were showing Vincent Tachuka, so I don't know whether or not he gave away the penalty or if it was in fact Etzebeth. Getting ready to line up this kick though for Nathan Doak. Bavana in the World Cup, are you sure? They certainly are. And the Sharks school teams don't even get invited to North-South, where all the Premier South Africa schoolboys play. I think the Ulster Bomb squad fired a bit early. Sharks are patient. Oh, ball's fallen off the tee for Nathan Doak. It looks like they are going to hold it now. They've got 15 seconds. Oh, he's having struggles with the tee. Now only got the 10 seconds. His teammate needs to hold that ball for him. They've got 8 seconds. Still plenty of time for Doak. And 3, 2, 1. Strikes it anyway and still gets it over. That is composure, ladies and gentlemen, because he was having some big struggles. That ball fell off the tee twice. I mean, it was the last time New Zealand was in a FIFA World Cup. 2010, I believe. That was the last time the Kiwis were in there. Actually, the only undefeated side from 2010. They had a draw. They had another draw. And I think they had a win, but didn't end up going through due to differential and whatnot. I remember it fondly. Well, not really fondly, because of the fact that I was in primary school and I stayed up all night to watch it and then ended up with a really bad headache during school. So in the end, I had to sit outside for the last kind of class of the day, just in the breeze for my head. But they did draw, so that was all right. You know, it could have been worse. They could have lost. And maybe we've been tough on the Sharks. 10. It's very windy at pitch level. I think it hurts the fact that Doak's getting them all over, though, but maybe it will be harder in the second half for him. A shame Sharks supporter. Says Titanium. Just shows what a world-class coach makes same player, different coach. And shame Sharks, Ulster can't do anything wrong. Yeah, they've just played a very good first half of rugby here. Might be biased, but the Dragons are the team. With all their defeats, these Sharks ain't a team. Says Fleshin. And wake up, Sharks, says Titanium there. Now, getting ready to throw this one in. Nicely taken by the Sharks round the halfway line. They were losing up against Ulster last year. 19 points to 5. In fact, that was actually this year earlier on. That's another drop ball for Sia Masuku. It's gone backwards. Now, off to the left-hand side. Another step, Oxenshire. Now again, back into the pocket. Kicked high from Sia Masuku. Just the 1.5 minutes remaining. Marcus Olimapimpi unable to take it nicely. Done by Lowry again. Wasted money, says Titanium. And there too. And let's keep it real there, says Ruth. 40 metres out and still the 60 seconds remaining. Being told to use it. Masuku, no, says Ruth. That one's going to be kicked high, running on to it. And yeah, through the hands again of Sia Masuku as Makazole Mapimpi almost driven into touch. Vincent Koch. Collision there with it would have been Scott Wilson. And come on the Sharks, there's the Hobbit there. Williams going to the ear again. I believe the Sharks are going into the breeze by the looks of it, although that will help with the hanging kick. Nicely taken by Makazole Mapimpi. He's wrestled down by Werner Koch. Now Williams, Sia Masuku. Going for a 50-22 here. Interesting choice. And it works. They get themselves the kick. A nice chicks all round. Why don't the Sharks just go for the corner? The up and unders aren't working, says Albert. And yeah, they kick him on from Masuku. If it had bounced infield, it would have been the end of the half. But it's a good kick there, and they will get themselves the last attacking chance. So, yeah, I mean, if they score now, they made the right choice. And they do. Oh, wait. It wasn't a 50-22. My apologies. I thought that was a 50-22, but it's actually Ulster's ball here. Which, stolen by the Sharks anyway. I was about to say, it makes you wonder whether or not Sia Masuku knew that it wasn't going to be a 50-22 for when he kicked it. Now, offload. Pepsi put the lazy ball on the outside. Lorenzo Julius goes to Makazole Mapimpi, who gets wrestled closer to the sideline. Looks like maybe an injury here for James Hume, who maybe took a hit a little bit too hard on the chest. Who's playing his Mohaden at the moment, the Sharks and Ulster. Currently 15 points difference between the two sides. But the Sharks, they can cut that gap down a little bit here if they're able to score. See a Masuku skip pass, going to Andre Estes, and then that is another knock on. So the Sharks, that is about their maybe 7th or 8th of the half. And a halftime break, 15 points difference, 20 points to 5. Now, the thing is, I want to mention it again. The score difference between these two sides the last time that they played at halftime was 14. 19 points to 5 at halftime. Sharks went on to win that game, and they were away from home. Very solid by Ulster. Mustn't go on in on themselves in the second half. Says clear the bridge. Exactly right. They need to keep doing what they've done here, because any chance that they get, just take those threes for now. They're adding up big time in this contest. 26th of October, England named their side. Sears Tiger 11. 26th of October. I may write that down. Does anyone know the dates of the other sides that haven't announced as of yet? I know that a lot of sides have. 26 seems quite late, but I guess they aren't playing in the first round, are they? You look like a lawyer. Is it because I got a pen? It's actually a fancy pen too. I'll tell you all about my pen at halftime. But 26 for England. I'm hoping that the Springboks give plenty of notice. I'm using my pen like a stylus, by the way, because it has got that little nub on the end. It's going to focus, not really. But yeah, it's got that little stylus on the end. It also has, I don't know, I'm trying to sell you a pen apparently now. It's got a measuring tape. It's got a little level as well, which you can't really see, but that is a level there. And it's green, so that doesn't work. It also, if you screw this off, has a screwdriver. And it's a pen as well, just like most pens are. You really do well in a sales interview, Hamish, says Youngko. We have got there, why didn't Rossi say his team yet? I'm not really sure. Weakest team of the URC, you're right. Says clear the bridge. My pen has a laser. Ooh, very fancy. I'd assume that's on this end, is it? And come on, Ulster, keep it up. Says Dylan. And yeah, they've just started very well. I had a breakup with a girlfriend in the 80s. She didn't want to celebrate a good win all night on the outer fields. We have got there as well. South African Club Rugby is exhausting. Maybe I should stick to watching the box. Says Youngko. It's definitely a seesaw. As they get towards the end of the season, you get a little bit more consistency from side. Yours is 499. Says Jimbo. Hamish, what do you build mostly? Says Sakabula. I'd say, well, we do a little bit of most things. What we were doing most recently was putting a massive beam, or like a cross beam, into a ceiling, just because there's like a certain wall that is going down. So we actually had to use a crane or like a chain to be able to bring it up and fit it into the area. We had to cut a hole in the wall because it couldn't go through the door because of how long it is. But yeah, it was a hefty enough job. Talking to the fella about the NPC as well, and I did say that Canterbury Otago, good chance of it being the final, and he did agree, so next time we're there, I'll be able to say, yep, we both got it right. Damn rain screw on the Cricket World Cup, says Kiwi Rob. Yeah, I did see rain delay for Pakistan versus New Zealand, which is a little bit of a concern there. We have got there as the Springboks playing every Saturday in November. Pretty much, yes. In fact, yeah, I think they are. They've got the 5 games that they are going to be playing for. I wish that's a MacGyver tool. Says Ruth. And a green flesh and says Jamie. That second half. Not a mile away. One second, we'll go like this. And like that as well. But yeah, looking at the odds at the moment, Ulster, as you would expect, sitting not too badly. $1.30 favourites. The Sharks, for them to make the comeback here, they are $3.40 underdogs in this scenario, which is, I mean, it's roughly what you'd expect, but got to remember how much of a favourite they were heading into this game. They've had the comeback before, though. So perhaps they can do it again, but it is going to take a monumental effort. But also, off of the bench, ladies and gents, they have still got some great players available for this match. They've got Klakane, Emmanuel Tuchuka, Jaden and Jordan, the Hendrickse brothers. I don't think it will be that long till we see Jordan Hendrickse actually make his way onto the field here. It just feels like there's, I don't know, not quite working at the moment with Sia Masuku in the starting lineup. He has missed quite a few kicks. Maybe it will get better in the second half. Also, that experience of Lukanyo Arm could be massively beneficial here for the Sharks. But Ulster, they've already made one change. I believe that was Postlethwaite, who went onto the field for McCluskey, who I don't think has returned as of yet. So that is a bit of a concern for Ulster, seeing as they've already lost quite a few players to injury this year. And Bulls can be glad they are not playing at home because it's pouring rain here in Pretoria. And also, good bet that says Jimbo. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Or as in, like, if you backed Ulster, I assume you're saying, because they were like $6 underdogs. So, yeah, I don't think anyone saw them starting the way that they did here. But, you know, they just played the better rugby for the first 40. I was also in the building industry, mostly designed exhaust systems for massive power generators. It's hard work but satisfying, says Sakabula. And also we have got there about they are not doing too great with no rain, says Winmar. Sia Kolisi has scored the lone try in this contest for the Sharks. Ulster, they have had the try of Vernicock, Michael Lowry. Those are the two try scorers just at this point in time. So the thing is, they don't want to get too greedy here, but a bonus point could be on the cards. You know, 2 more tries that would get them there. Could get worse in the rain, says Albert. And raining in Pretoria, says Ruth. And there as well. Yeah, they're just showing the celebrations in the stands from the Springboks supporters when they were able to get that try. My team isn't in the URC, says Albert. Maybe one day. I know that you're hoping that either they get added into the URC or even if it was Super Rugby just to get them some game time. Would be ideal. They're just showing that other angle of the Sia Kolisi try. In fact, they're showing every angle that they have got available of this Kolisi try. And with a warning now for Connacht, Bulls missed it, says Jimbo. Yes, they've probably got quite lucky for that one. I'm not too sure when the postponed game between Ulster and Edinburgh will take place. Let's hope, Hamish. Says Albert there. I think we'll go like this. And we'll go like that as well. Okay, yeah, they haven't got a date as of yet, I don't think, from what I can see. But that does not mean that there won't be one. And Durban knock-ons. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them throughout this game. Although the thing is, we've seen a lot of knock-ons from one team, which always makes it interesting. And looks like Sharks are not at their best today. Why am I looking at the pen? Here, for a second there, I look like mids. We're doing funny stuff. Says Dennis. Oh, it's a very nice pen, to be fair. It's got a bit of weight to it as well, which is ideal. Once again, sounds like I'm trying to sell you a pen. I don't want to sell you this pen, but I feel like it is a better pen to sell you than just a plain pen because it's got all the little bells and whistles. Even if you just like a heavier pen, you know, you chuck that at a wall, it will go through it. And Bulls had a bad habit of letting in easy tries in the last 15 minutes. Seems the trend is continuing. Says Sakabula. Yeah, that was actually the case in the Curry Cup as well, wasn't it? That they kept on doing it. As well as near the end of last year. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Sharks, like I said, they were down by 14 last time they played Ulster, and they weren't at home. My pen can cook the books, says Albert. And we hope their Bulls had a bad habit. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? Where did you get that spaced out pen, Hamish? I'll be honest, I can't remember. So, terrible salesman. But I found it in my room. I was doing a bit of a tidy. Found a few random bits and bobs. And this pen was one of them. The Bulls made 220 tackles last night. You must have a competition and let people win. What, for the pen? But I only have one of them. And it's quite a handy one. Look at that great victory by the Bulls. Beating Connacht ×2 at Galway is epic, says Eric. And come on the Sharks, says Nick. So yeah, do let me know your end score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. Also, for anyone who is wondering what is to come for these two sides, next week the Sharks are going to be playing up against the Scarlets. That is the 3 a.m. game. Scarlets just recently having that loss up against the Lions. And then also for Ulster, they have got the Lions, which they will come into that game with, I would think, quite a bit of confidence with the way that they've been playing here. Alongside that, in terms of the South African sides, for anyone wondering who is going to be playing next week, the Stormers, they have got their game up against Benetton. That is the game straight after. The Sharks versus Scarlets, and then also Glasgow Bulls taking place on, it will be Saturday morning. That will be a good game. Sharks coaching staff must be reviewed. I must do a money giveaway, says Mohadeen. And AQ lads, what do you think the problem is with the Sharks? Says Nick, it's a builder's pen, because you're a builder. Let the guy by from Step by Step. Lily, are you okay? Says Zuckerbuller there. And also Ulster 43, Sharks 21. Oh, so you're going real high scoring for the two sides, just try after try in that regard. The Bulls not playing well, over 14 points on the log, not too bad. Yeah, it's that whole thing of if you can win playing badly, even though at times I don't think they'll be playing that badly. Like, they've had some good moments too. But, yeah, if you can win games that you're struggling in, it's a massive boost. Like, if the Sharks were able to come back in this game, for instance, and somehow got themselves the win here, that would be massive for them, you know, and it would give them more than likely a bonus point with where we are sitting. We'll go like this and like this as well. And also we have got there are the cheers flying in the Sharks dressing room. Well, that's the thing. They need to have a big team chat and go, listen, boys, we were supposed to win this. So sort it out. Get it going in the second half. And let's see if we can turn it around. It looks like Vincent Tichuka, the first man to make his way out of the tunnel. It was quite interesting at half-time because Eben Etzebeth did not wait for his team. He just ran into the sheds way ahead of them. And I'm going out. I won't be able to watch the Stormers game, says Mohadin in there. But yeah, we are going to be covering that one on the channel between Zebra as well as the Stormers. Too many disruptions in the Shark team selection, says Albert. And yeah, sometimes it can hurt. You know, we saw it for Waikato and the Bunnings NPC. And 1 second, we'll go like that. I just want to quickly check. Okay, odds still the same at the moment, ladies and gents. I thought that maybe some people would have jumped on the Sharks at the moment. Hey, I hear you, Roof. I've done a bit of comedy in my time, says Robert, and didn't expect the score. I don't think anyone was, to be fair. Like, don't get me wrong. If Ulster were going to win this game, I think people were thinking less than 7. But at the moment, they are leading by 15. Ball in their hands of Eben Etzebeth. Can the big man get this thing moving? Now rolling it back. Going to be Reffel, who's made his way onto the field. Now chasing after this one, Ethan Hooker, but it stays in the hands of Michael Lowry. To score himself the first try of the whole contest for the Sharks. Well, sorry, for Ulster. Against the Sharks, of course. Nathan Doak rolling this one back, being told to use it by Ben Whitehouse. I did say Ulster to sneak a win before kickoff, says Albert. So you're still giving the Sharks a bit of a comeback then? Give you €2 for that pen. Just send $50 with it. Thanks, Hamish, says Dennis. Oh, Ewa Fundamover in the breakdown. Ulster on it, and they win another penalty. And once again, this is the chance to just add 3 points. Come on, the Sharks. This is a Shark tank. Let's wake up and win this, says Nick. Okay, Vincent Tichuka is just saying they didn't have time to set that ball down first. They are calling for the post. I don't think the coaching is the problem. I think the entire Sharks environment is the problem. The former Sharks coach, Sean Everett, was immediately successful with another team after he left, says Arno. You see, that's something that maybe hasn't been talked about much in terms of... I feel like it's a tricky one to talk about, though, without people getting annoyed. But yeah, it does seem like, yes, don't get me wrong, the coaching does seem like it's struggling, but, you know, there could be other parts of the puzzle as well. After the scoreline, I changed my prediction, says Albert. We have got these Sharks really need the first points this half. And it looks like Nathan Doak, he's going to have the first chance to add the points onto the board, which if this one goes over, they would lead by 18 in this contest, getting closer and closer to those 3 converted tries ahead. Ball's being held on to the tee at the moment. And we've got from TC, I'm not sure what that stands for, unfortunately. Oh, that one's missed away to the side for Nathan Doak. Maybe it is this end of the field. That's that little bit more tricky. But it's going to keep the score sitting at 15 points difference. Why can't Rassi coach the Sharks? He's probably a bit busy, I would think. Now, ready to kick this one from the goal line, or sorry, from the 22 for Sia Masuku. Back underway, Ulster 45 to the 22. Here's Ruth. Now they will run it back with Nick Timoney sneaking around the outside of Bongi Umbanambi. Stand up for the Ulsterman. Okay. So is that kind of like how, like, they've got come on you Quins for, what's the Irish one as well? It's come on you boys in green, isn't it? It's Koibig, isn't it, for the Irish? And look, clearly no one can deny the coaching is the problem at the Sharks. So here's Albert. Yeah, there's certainly a bit of a problem there, but it may not be the only problem, which is a concern. My buddy reckons the Sharks are playing like sardines. And too many big egos at the Sharks. Rusty knows how to handle them. Plum doesn't. Says Sakabula. And now kicking this one into touch for Sia Masuku after the penalty was awarded to the Sharks. I don't think they will feel safe here yet, Ulster. But, like they've just said, wind is a factor, and Ulster probably have the worst of it for the second half now. Sharks going downwind, I believe, now. Oh no, they've said it's a southwester, so a bit of an awkward one for the sides. Bongi Umbanambi ready to throw it in. They need a few of those Springbok veterans to get the job done here for the Sharks. Makazole Mapimpi tackled low by Nick Timoney. Now back across to the right-hand side. That's ball from Grant Williams. Goes straight into the hands of Ulster. Ball is still available as well. That was just a case of a hesitant moment from Grant Williams. Led to the turnover. Loose ball. Picked up well by Postlethwaite. Tries to go through. Can't get the offload for himself either. And no man says Sakabula. What do you call a Sharks supporter with a bottle of champagne in his hands? A waiter. Says WLK. Now, sitting inside of that 22, Reffel. Now inside of the 22, so can kick this one into touch. Evan Etzebeth did read that one perfectly. He saw the ball was out. Forces a knock on there. His biggest moment of the game for Etzebeth. Nathan Doak's not happy. He's saying that the ball's not out. Also, Sharks have weak decision makers in key positions and coaches can't fix that. Says Albert. And good work, Etzebeth, says Sakabula. Okay, I think that the referees just had a bit of a chat there with Doak as he said that the ball was out, which to be fair, it kind of was. Doak's just frustrated because he's dropped the ball afterwards. Okay, so Nathan Doak was just saying there, if Etzebeth asks the question to the referee, Nathan Doak was saying the referee has to say that the ball's out. And referee just answered back, well, he didn't ask me, he just did it. Vincent Tashuka just listening in the background. He's hearing what's going on. Okay, he's having it all described to him here for Nathan Doak, but that ball was out. So I don't think there's too much of a problem there. He's not happy about it, but the Sharks will now have themselves a scrum in a very good position on the field. This is where those advantages at scrum time as well as that penalty count could start to add up. Good work, Etzebeth. Ball was out, says Sakabula. And need another coffee, says Ruth. And there as well, but 35 minutes remaining. Nathan Doak's still shaking his head. He does not agree. But the thing is, he can't let it get to him because if he does, it's going to be problems for this Ulster side. They have to keep their composure, keep their heads here, definitely with this big scrum that is about to take place for the Sharks side. Oxen Sheh still on the field alongside Vincent Koch as well as Bongi Umbanambi. The all Springbok front rowers. Okay, there is an injured player. So Tom Stewart will make his way off the field. Oh no, he doesn't know he's injured. So it is just a strategic sub here. Oh no, hang on. My apologies. There is the injured player. That is actually Sean Reffel. He's only been on the field for a matter of moments. And he's already back off. So they have got 2 hookers at the moment on the field, and there is actually 3 if you count, or in fact there's 4. If you count Umbanambi as well as Ethan Hooker, Sia, Eben, Hooker, and Koch, the only intelligent decision makers in the Sharks team. Oh, that's going to be another scrum reset. You can't call yourself Hollywood and load up with actors, but it doesn't make for a great, you can call yourself Hollywood, load up with actors, but it doesn't make a great film. And as I go, the Sharks go, big thunderstorm here, may affect Durban. Says world's champs twice. There's still 34 minutes remaining in this fixture. That is enough time to get back 15 points. But at the same time, if they do blow this opportunity, you have to say it's almost too little well, no, it's still early. Getting ahead of ourselves. The Sharks, they were able to come back in the second half up against Ulster the last time that the 2 sides played. They were down by 14. Went on to win that game by 3. Right, ball is fed in again. Big push from the Sharks. And they'll get themselves another penalty advantage. Andre Esterhuizen just short of the 10 metres. Now pick and go around the side, getting in the breakdown there for Ulster, but unable to get the steal. Now Vincent Tachuka dragged down 10 metres out for the try line. Another advantage this time for offside. Andre Esterhuizen. Rush defence from Werner Koch. Ball's come out of his hands. Mapimpi goes into touch and they'll go back for another penalty. How's Hamish what URC games are done so far with the scores and what's coming up? Says Roger. So these are the games that did take place yesterday. We've also seen the Lions. They were able to get themselves the win just not too long ago up against the Scarlets. And the score in that game was 29-18. Alongside that, later on tonight, there is Leinster-Munster, or later on this morning for us here in New Zealand. Leinster-Munster's the next game, taking place in an hour and 8 minutes' time. Then it is Zebra versus the Stormers. And then also Glasgow Warriors versus Ospreys. That happens at the same time as Zebra versus Stormers. Right, they are just saying there that if the Sharks keep on going to the scrum, they will be able to milk a yellow card here, as Ulster just don't seem to be able to do anything about it. Why does Ethan McKnight or Midnight Cowboy simply just run through the Ulster team? Says Arno, and Hollywood actors don't care about the scoreline as long as you look good. Says Alberton, come on the Sharks. Says Craig. This one 10 metres out from the line, and again we're going to see that scrum in action here for the Sharks. The moment they are in that rinse and repeat mode, but this is the most beneficial tactic that they can use throughout this game. I wonder whether or not, I'm trying to think back if that was what they did up against Ulster last time and just wore them down at scrum time to then go on to just continuously play under advantage. Now Grant Williams, ready to feed this ball in again. Big push from the Sharks. And referee gives another penalty advantage. Grant Williams off the back, passes out wide, and Makazole Mapimpi finishes in the corner. Oh, he did the angry eyes there at Werner Koch. After running in the try, he did the wide-eyed looking straight at him. But it is the try for the Sharks that get them back into the contest. And I believe now Ulster will be on one of their last warnings when it comes to that scrum. Come on, Ulster, says Mark. Sharks game plan looks so basic. Well, at the moment, the plan is get scrums, because that is the only way they will win this game at this point in time, is to use that scrum like a lethal weapon and just keep on going to it. That's what they've been able to do here. Try, says Ruth. Chance here for Sia Masuku. He missed every kick from the other end of the field. A chance here to get one from this end where Doak was able to get everything over. And Masuku, he gets it over this time, making the score now 20 points to 12. Still in favour of the away side, but the start of a comeback has just started for the Sharks side. Yes, come on the Sharks, says Sakabula. It is a great wide cutout pass. And Makazole Mapimpi just finishing it off. Yeah, the collision with James Hume, it wasn't actually one on purpose. They just ended up running into the same place, same time. But Mapimpi took it personally by the looks of the way that he looked at him. As no one's seen The old 70s film, Midnight Cowboy. It's about a male hooker. You damn kids, get off my lawn. Says Arno, I hadn't heard of it. See, I'm on the lawn now. I got hay fever. Maybe there, it's comeback season. Let's go the Sharks and come on the Sharks. Let's get a clean sweep for South Africa teams this weekend. Why did Pollard not play yesterday against Connacht? I think it could have been to do with the fact that his wife's just about to have a baby, I think. So maybe they left him out for that reason, or perhaps they are just getting him all ready. Well, the Springbok, that's a knock-on. It's a double knock-on. Etzebeth actually knocked it on too. Yep, so they will go back for the scrum. Guess what? That is exactly what the Sharks want. Only 8 points, says Ruth. I want South African teams to do well, but this is frustrating because on paper the Sharks should be ahead by 40, says Albert. Oh, double blow the whistle. Oh, okay, never mind. It's not going to be the scrum. It's actually going to be the penalty, potentially going the way of Ulster for a tip tackle from Vincent Koch. Also, we've there, well done, the Sharkies, says Craig. We have got their most balls box have been sent home, says Albert there too. We're going to see it here from Vincent Koch. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of commentary bias there. Commentator said he put him down gently, so it's fine. This is going to be a yellow card, ladies and gents. He said a little bit gently. He's dropped him on the back of his neck. Let's not try and beat around the bush here. This is probably going to be a yellow card for the Sharks from Vincent Koch. It meets the yellow card threshold. He is tipped above the horizontal, and it's just not a smart move from Vincent Koch. However, the Sharks just waiting for their feeding time, says World Champs twice. The Sharks aren't the box, so let's give them some love and patience, considering their tough scheduling. Pitt only put him down, says Jimbo, so Vincent Koch going to be making his way off the field for the 10 minutes now. And the Sharks, they did have themselves a yellow card against Ulster last match when they did play. In this case, I just mentioned about because it was past that 90-degree horizontal, you always get yourself in a little bit of a danger zone when that does take place. But now, ready to put this one into touch for Ulster. Not getting a huge amount of distance on it, although kicking straight into the breeze, so had to try and keep it nice and low. Vincent did that on purpose because he wanted a few weeks off, says Albert, although I don't think it's going to be a red card. I think it's going to be a yellow at most for Vincent Koch. And now that's the chance for Ulster. It was going to be a scrum feed on the halfway line for the Sharks. But now will find themselves defending a line out. That one's thrown a not straight though. So it does give the Sharks the line out anyway. Okay, there was a contest and the breeze did not help it. Comment there for the referee, but now scrum for the Sharks. Only the 9 minutes remaining. It's in for review. It is, but it won't get upgraded because there wasn't a lot of intent behind it. Do you think the other problem is the schedule? Like you play for the Box and straight away you come back and play for the Sharks and the URC? It's just non-stop rugby, says Nick. I think that, it is very tough on the players. And I do think when they were making the big decisions of going to the URC and whatnot, they didn't anticipate how much fatigue it was going to set in for these guys. Like, it's very easy for the guys who are making those decisions to say, yeah, they'll be fine. They can just get a bigger squad. But, it is pretty tough. That travel from north and south is brutal. You're looking like about a 12-hour flight or something like that. And you're doing that every few weeks. So it can have a bit of an effect on the body. Ready to feed this ball into the scrum. Andre Esterhuizen packing down on the side now. Like they're saying, the Andre Esterhuizen. The commentator's not a fan of Esterhuizen on the side because of how dangerous of a centre he can be. Bit of a wobble there. We did see Pepsi Putalesi make his way off of the field. I think that is for Lucanio Arm, who's made his way on. If the Rugby Championship was changed till February, it would help. New Zealand doesn't want the change, says Tiger. Well, I think it's just because of the overlap with the cricket season here in New Zealand as well as the, the other sports that do take place, whether that's basketball or, anything like that. I think that was some of the reasoning behind it. And also, yeah, I don't know what they do with Super Rugby in that case. Whether or not they'll play it now when it's summer, I don't think they'd want to. But, yeah, I don't know. There might be the chance that it moves at some stage. It's depressing enough being a Stormers fan. I can imagine being a Sharks, or couldn't imagine being a Sharks fan. Nice run forward from Lorenzo Julius. Ends up sitting down Jack Murphy. Now Williams back across to Oxton Share, who bumps off one of the Ulster defenders too. And I think that is an advantage in favour of the Sharks, but no arms in the tackle. As South Africa Rugby Union reckon that because of this year, with bigger budgets, South African teams can afford bigger squads. Says Albert. Now rolling it back. And the penalty, they will go back. 3 players off the feet in the breakdown, but they are playing the offside anyway. Now Sia Masuku ready to kick this one towards the touchline. URC is only good for the short term. Honestly, Super Rugby will be good for the long because you get the rest after the Rugby Championship and it benefits the South African teams more rather than the URC. Says Nick, yeah, it gives them that window of, you've got, because like the thing is, there's also the Carling Curry Cup, isn't there? Which gets thrown in there. So, it's just all-out action pretty much all year for the South African sides. There's only those couple little breaks when the Six Nations is going on, but then they're playing up against each other during that window to get those games happening too. So, yeah, it's pretty brutal. Or at least they were last year, I should say, because of the delays of the first rounds due to the Curry Cup. I don't know whether or not they're doing that South African derby in the Six Nations again. We're going to throw this one in for Bongi Umbanambi to get us back underway. With the 25 minutes remaining. Big smile on the face of Umbanambi. So at least he's having fun out there. Now rolling maul. Starting up Vincent Tachuka calling the shots by the looks of it in this maul. As it does reach a screeching halt. Doesn't stop the Box winning back-to-back World Cup though. Says Jumbo. People forget the Curry Cup when they complain. Says Tiger 11. Even like those experienced guys, if you take away the URC, they get all of December off. They get, I believe they get January off as well. So you get about a 2-month window where these guys would get a decent kind of rest. I'll see a Masuku. I don't think that pass was for Andre Estes, and it's gone in behind him, and now the counter-attack comes for Ulster. Oh, that's just so stupid from Makazole Mapimpi. He's going to get himself yellow-carded as well, and I get that he was frustrated because someone collided with him earlier on, but they're going for the kick in behind. Ulster should score, and they do. And there's probably going to be a yellow card for Makazole Mapimpi for some pure stupidity at the back as well. And Mapimps might be in trouble. He will be. And there's no one to blame but himself. I think that was one of the dumbest tackles we've seen in recent times from anyone. Yeah, they're going to check it. They're going to clear it, but it's not going to be cleared. And there might be the checking of the grounding too. Maybe he did fumble it, but either way, there's going to be something for Ulster. Right. Ian Henderson, I think he missed it. We're going to see it now from Makazole Mapimpi. Picks up the legs, tips him and drives him too. That was a clever try by Ulster. See what I mean, Sharks low IQ. Says Albert. We see it there from Mapimpi. Like, that's just showing frustration from an experienced winger who didn't need to do it. And that's the second time Lowry's been dropped on his head in like the last 5 minutes. And then there's the afters too. I think that might have actually been because of his teammate though for Ulster. It meets the yellow card threshold. Same guy being tip tackle. Like, I get that he's one of the smaller players, but you don't have to throw him around like the Sharks are at the moment. Mapimpi, he's going to be making his way off the field. And they will just check to see if there was the grounding. Oh, yeah, they're resetting the clock, so that try has been cleared. Okay, Mapimpi's saying that it wasn't a yellow, but that's not going to win, is it? Look at that from Byron has said pimples. And there as well. Is that like Mapimpi's nickname? We have got there red. Ouch, says we've not a red yet. Still time, but we are going to see the replay here. Great kick in behind from Nathan Doak when he did link up with Werner Koch. Big driving tackle from Andre Esterhuizen too. Oh, we didn't get to see the grounding, but I think it was all right, and that kick has gone over. 27 points to 12. The lead now for Ulster, and they need one more try to get themselves the bonus point here. Ball from the Sharks says Malcolm there, and Red all day says Jimbo. Time left in this matchup, still another 25 minutes left. In fact, it's a little bit less than that now, about 23. Where's my Pippi's biggest fan, Grant Nisbet? Says Arno. Yes, his nickname, well known. Says Byron. I like how you put well known so that you pretty much are saying, I should know it. Noted. And we certainly won't forget it. Looks like a bit of an injury there. One of the Ulster players. Kicking behind from Nathan Doak, looking for the 50-22. Great angle here. Brilliant kick, and it's the 50-22 for Ulster. They are on fire at the moment. Werner Koch thought about going quickly, but decides against it. Oh no, now they go quickly, but they're told against. Why aren't they allowed to go there? I think it might have been that they had a different ball. No, it would have been the same ball. Maybe it was just the fact that the line-out was set. Plumtree getting fired after this, says Ahmed. Hello, Brazil loves rugby too. Says Sten, oh, how are Brazil going, Sten? Because they had their match up against Paraguay last week, and I believe those two sides might actually be playing very soon. I'm going to have a quick look here. Because they're in the World Cup qualification, aren't they? And if they go on to win here up against Paraguay and have that decent points differential, they will be through to that next World Cup. I will go fixtures and results. What was the end score last week? I do wonder. A Sharks supporter here, very disappointed in the Sharks team performance. Over the last 2 or 3 years, something is very, very wrong at Sharks HQ. Time for a clean out and a clean up, says Ralph. Oh, they lost by 20, Brazil. So they will have to win this next game by 21 points if they want to go on and qualify for that World Cup. Now, ready for the line-out chance. Plumtree out, says Ahmed. It looks like Oxen Share, he will make his way off the field. A good impact for a start. But yeah, mistake made by Ulster, so it does mean now that the Sharks have got themselves the scrum feed from inside of their 22, giving away a golden opportunity off a 50-22 chance. I wonder if it's frustrating for the standing provincial teams and when the Boks returned for international duty, especially when you mess up like Mapimpi did, says Roger. It's another big scrum and another penalty at scrum time. When do Samoa play? I see that the Samoa XV or the Samoa 15 are actually in action, I believe, next week. And that is, the week after. I think it might be. Yeah, they're playing up against the New Zealand Heartland 15. And a match on Tuesday as well as Saturday for 2 weeks' time. And then Samoa, the main side, play up against the Italians. And then I believe the repechage is coming up in the near future too. Within the next few weeks. They've got 2 men off the field at the moment. 21 minutes remaining. In this fixture, Plumtree looking nervous in the box as they are currently down by the 15 points. So no bonus point at the moment. Oh, wow. There's a red card here. 20-minute red card. Who's that for? Is that for Makazole Mapimpi or Vincent Koch here? It is Makazole Mapimpi who gets the red. He kind of does the surprised face on the sideline, Mapimpi. And the difference between that one and Vincent Koch is the fact that he drove through the tackle. Kind of slammed him down on the ground too. So Mapimpi now has probably blown his chances of being in the Springboks November squad. But Mapimpi deserved that. He absolutely did. I mentioned about it. He's done some great things throughout this game earlier on. Scored himself the try, but that was just pure stupidity. From such an experienced player too, in a game where you didn't need it. I'm done with the Sharks team. So we get a new coach. There's CMC. Oh, double blow of the whistle here. Okay, Fezin Bartha was just yelling at the referee, so he's been told to settle down. Mapimpi's tackle was quite dangerous, says some ugly nerd. And raining here now to add to the Sharks' misery. And Brainfart says Wemar, and also thank you, Ruth. I think he just saw red, and now he has seen red. He seemed like he was frustrated from when he scored himself the try. There was a slight collision between him and James Hume. And he just decided to take his frustration about the game out on a random fullback who had already been dropped on his head not too long beforehand. Plumtree, same body language as Lions coach. Both know their time is up. And now, don't he play in November? He's probably going to miss a couple games at least. Makazole Mapimpi. Which means that he would be suspended if it was, let's say, a 3-match ban. I don't know whether they give him 3. They might give him 2. But either way, that means that he would be 1 week of his suspension gone next week, and then he wouldn't be able to play up against Japan, and then maybe back after that. But there is the advantage now for the Sharks. Andre Esterhuizen going on the outside of Pepsi, put the lazy double while the whistle here again. This might be a yellow card now coming in the way of Ulster. People starting to leave the stadium, says Albert. Yeah, not a good look at this stage. Outside bet, Mapimpi to come on with 1 minute to go and score the winning try. I don't think he's allowed to. I think with that 20-minute red card, it means that they do have to make a change as someone else. So you could have maybe Lukanyo making his way on for the final moment to be able to score. And it is also raining in Durban, like mentioned before, getting a little bit heavier now. So yeah, some people are just deciding rather than just trying to get a jacket over the head or something, they're just leaving the stadium. Are you looking forward to the Autumn Internationals? I am. Says Big Rig there. Watching the Sharks must be the most painful watch in world rugby, says The Gift. It's been a lot of knock-ons throughout this game. The one thing that they've had consistent throughout the whole game is their scrum, though. Like, that's been good. But other than that, not so much, unfortunately, for the Sharks side. Now ready for the line out. They will be about 7 metres out from the line. Fezambata, the man to throw it in. 19 minutes left on the clock. There is still theoretically time. But they do need to try before 65 minutes, I think, to really get them in the right direction. They're currently playing with 13 men on the field as well. Japan versus Australia next week. I don't think Japan have a hope, says Big Rig. Yeah, see, that Japan 15 game surprised me. I thought that they were going to do a lot better in that contest. Oh, there's going to be the early push there from Ulster. The penalty advantage in favour of the Sharks. Grant Williams taking the ball off Fezambata. Going to Andre Esterhuizen, and he tries to grab it, goes straight into the hands of Ulster. Oh, tell you what, referee almost got cleaned up by that ball. But it is another penalty early on the lifter. Okay, yellow card has expired for Vincent Koch. I believe they may just consider to make that change straight away and have Ruan Dreyer make his way on. In fact, he is out there now. Okay, they're calling over 18 for Ulster. So that is Tom O'Toole, and that is the 4th penalty in quick succession. How much time is left? Clock says 57, so at the moment 61. Oh, it's a yellow card, in fact. Sorry, I thought that was just going to be the warning, but the yellow. So both sides playing with 14 now at this stage. Oh no, he's all right. I thought Tom O'Toole just heard himself running off the field, but he was putting his mouth guard in his sock. But now, again, the playing field is levelled. 14 on 14. I think if you're the Sharks, you go for a scrum here. And that looks like exactly what they have called for. As they can continue to try and get those big scrum advantages. They are down by 15. They need 2 tries to get the bonus point. They need 3 tries to perhaps get the win. I miss Pollard, says Mohadin. He will be in action at some stage. Don't panic. He is going to be back. They haven't completely dropped him. Right, Scott Wilson has to make his way back on, which he will not be happy about because the scrum has not been going well for the Ulster side. When does Marks play club rugby? He plays in Japan. Is he at Toyota for Blitz or is he different side? One moment, we'll have a quick look while we are waiting for the scrum. Malcolm Marks for the, it is Kubota Spears is who he plays for. We have got their Pollard will return, says Big Rig, and Polly says Devon Nine, and also get Huge Bruce to coach the Sharks, says Gavin. And about 19 minutes left, says Sakabula. Yep, the clock is ticking by fast. The Sharks need another one. Now big push once more. It is nicely done by the Sharks. Another advantage. Rolling this one towards the try line. It's going to be a penalty try for the Sharks. And that means, is it another yellow card? No, it was still a part of the scrum. So referee says, oh no, someone's getting the finger coming over. Is Tyrone Green playing in the URC this year, or is he injured because they haven't seen him yet? I think he's yellow. Or not yellow, sorry, he's injured, sorry. That was what the referee said about a yellow card there, saying that it is not a yellow card, but tell you what, it's pretty close to it. And Stormers for the win tonight, says Bokang. Tell you what, it's extremely lucky the Sharks have a scrum. I will say that right now, and I feel like that is what is going through every Sharks supporter's head at the moment, because if it wasn't for the scrum, they haven't had a lot go their way. As in the Harlequins in the Premiership, says Tiger 11. Is he still with the Harlequins? He didn't make that switch in the end. I know that there were rumours, but I didn't know whether or not he signed any contracts. They're keeping it going, says Ruth. Because there's also talks that Rassi was looking at him for a little while, wasn't there? Now Ulster, they are still ahead by 8. But Ulster have lost a massive lead before. Up against the Sharks side, nicely taken by Vincent Tachuka. Inside of his 22. No supporters left, says Jimbo. Messi second half. Desperation on both sides, says Stephanie. And Hamish Highall, says Wild Lobster. Kicked high by Grant Williams. Eben Etzebeth, the man chasing after it. Werner Cox smashed there, but the ball's gone backwards. Nicely taken by Shane Lowry. Oh, okay, that looked like maybe a little bit of an injury there for Martin Zema. And also an injury here for Dreyer. So Vincent Koch may have to make his way back out onto the field. Koch smashed, says Sakabuli. Eben Etzebeth lined him up early. Little kick behind, attempted by Nathan Doak, but it's taken there by Andre Esterhuizen, already the advantage. So they'll go back for the penalty. Ulster look tired. I think they're starting to feel it. Those scrums have been fatiguing for them. And also, they've had a lot of running meters throughout this game. There's a few times where they've gone the full length of the field to either score or just narrowly miss out. Some deep rest being taken by Eben Etzebeth there too. Then the clock, though, smashed from Eben Etzebeth. And 10 minutes is a long time in rugby, and 15 is even longer. Time still remaining. Tyrone is not just talented, but intelligent. IQ player also, says Albert. And yeah, it looks like Ruan Dreyer, his knee, has only recently made his way onto the field. A little bit similar to what we saw for Sean Reffel. For Ulster, he made his way on, and within a couple minutes, he was back off. Currently, the 15 minutes on the clock. Eben is a worthy successor to Bacchius, says Yanko there. We see there Klakane, Lucanio Arm, and the Hendrickse brothers. None of them look like they are ready to come onto the field here. Just makes you wonder, what is the game plan for the Sharks side? Is it going to be to try and make these guys go the 80 minutes, or at least close to it, maybe around 75? But I think someone like Asia Masuku, a good time to switch him, I think, is about now. Have Jordan Hendrickse make his way onto the field. Looks like Vincent Koch has just made his way back out there. Lucanio Arm. Perhaps you look at him for Lorenzo Julius, who's been a little bit subpar at times throughout this match. He's had some good moments too, but having that experience of Lucanio Arm alongside Andre Esterhuizen, that is a midfield combo that could make a bit of a difference late. But I assume that it is because of the, what was I going to say? Because of the speed of Lorenzo Julius. Lightning warning at the stadium. Is there? I really hope there isn't. I assume you're a little bit ahead of me, because at the moment they are still about to go for the line out. Nicely taken by Ulster. We've only got 15 minutes remaining in this contest too. So I don't know what the plan will be if it does end up with a lightning strike or a lightning warning. We have 30 minutes. I have to decide what to do during that period of time. Now still rolling forward for Ulster. This one getting a little bit closer, sitting about 5 metres out from the line. Vincent Koch looks so easy going. Always like that Mr. Incredible look, says Albert. Now pick and go for Ulster. They are 5 metres out from the line. If they are able to score here, that would be their bonus point secured in this contest. Now pick and go. Getting just that little bit closer for Scott Wilson. Another pick and go this time. I believe it was Hearing. Now another trying to snipe round the side, Ulster. Now getting close. Oh, just short. He decides, okay, they've called it as a grounder. He actually decided against extending there, the Ulster prop, because he was worried it was going to be a double movement there, Callum Reid. So he will score, and that will be the bonus point, although I think they'll check this, as there may have been a second little shuffle for him there. But 32-19 in favour of Ulster at the moment. I mentioned about how if the Sharks played well, there was a chance of a 15-point win, but at the moment it's looking like Ulster, and the 15-point win could be on the cards. We're going to see it here. He's allowed one movement. He's initially short, but then that actually goes down on the line when he tries to feed it back. He has pressed it down on the line, just over the line. From there, like they are saying, it's very close to get that grounding. I looks a bit short there. He did look short initially. Oh, hang on. They're going to have another look. Might even be a knock-on, says Albert. No try, says Jimbo. Yeah, it looked like he actually wanted to feed it back. And then the ref ruled it as a try. Okay, Ben Whitehouse has been very strategic there. And he has said, I'm very far away from the screen, so show the angles and talk me through it. And Timo earning his his pennies tonight. How do you lose with 13 Springboks? Says Haino. Triple movement, says Sakabula. Yeah, I thought he was initially short. Then you're allowed one outstretch movement. So that is that one for me. That's on the line after when he tries to place it back, but they might consider it as the next movement for that, as I think his first initial movement was that reaching out of the arm. But I think this one might be chalked off here. Like they're saying, it's a tricky one for the TMO. He slams his face on the ground. If this is no try, it's a massive lifeline for the Sharks. Absolutely. They're saying there that it is a double movement in the commentary box. And a double, maybe even quadruple movement. So he's allowed one movement, and I think he's had it there. Tries to place the ball. What happens if you place the ball on the line, though, after you've had your crack at the line? I guess it would theoretically try and become play on, wouldn't it? But I guess it's more double movement first. The Sharks is Tyrant. On-field decision is try, and it's going to stay as try, ladies and gentlemen. Ref just cost Ulster another attempt. He didn't really, though, because he's ruled it as a try here. So there is going to be a bit of debate about that one. Like it's been mentioned, the crowd are not happy about it. They're all bundled up in that top corner because of the fact that it is dry up there at the moment, the crowd. But they are booing that one big time. But it is the try for Callum Reid, and it's the bonus point for Ulster. Brought up in slightly anticlimactic decision, like for it to be the bonus point. But it is going to stand. And that should secure the game now for Ulster if this kick from Doak goes over. And ball game, says Big Rig. Terrible decision, says Jimbo. Now getting ready to strike this ball for Nathan Doak. That was a big call, it was. I think because that ball landed on the line when he tried to place it back, that's what maybe swayed them a little bit. Well, if that's the bar, I'm adding one career try against the Sharks for myself, says Yanko there. I'm sure he was too lazy to go to the screen, says Haino. And W Sharks in the chat says Leon, but that kick has gone over from Doak, making the score now 19 points to 34. Go on, Ulster. What a change this year compared to last year's disaster. Says John, yeah, they're looking like a well-oiled machine this year. And the fact that they were sixth heading into this game, they'll head up to about maybe third or second at the moment, and they've still got that game in hand that they have to play up against Edinburgh at some point. Irish Bloodhounds sniffing out the try line. My big score prediction wasn't far off, says Albert. And referee has have no balls, says Bram there. Our TMO Tech ref should just play on rather than blowing, says Jimbo. And it's the same ref that's always in the TMO box. I'm not actually too sure who the TMO is for this game. I did miss it at the start. Kick high from Jaden Hendricks, who's made his way onto the field with just the 11 and a half minutes remaining. Ulster, the form Irish team at the moment, says Neil. And we get to see an Irish derby just around the corner too. Munster taking on Leinster for that match. Sharks should leave the URC, says Mohadin, even proving he's the most overrated player of all time, says Nick. 2 converted tries and 1 penalty in 11 minutes. Surely they won't manage it. You just never know. I feel like because of the fact that the Sharks have made late comebacks before, I'm not completely ruling them out, but they need more scrums. That's the only way they win this game, is if they get 5 scrums from here. The one's going to be kicked high, nicely taken at the back from Ethan Hooker, a player we haven't seen for about 60 minutes throughout this game. He was quite busy early. And outside of that, not a lot of ball time for Ethan Hooker today. Martin Zima running it sideways. And Sharks are worse than the Dragons, says Haino. And yeah, Eben has passed his best, but still a handy big guy, says Albert. Nicely taken by Doak. Driving tackle made by Ethan Hooker. I'm losing my voice already. We've still got another live stream around the corner. Penalty goes the way of the Sharks. I think Eben is over his sell-by date. And I missed the Ulster yellow. What happened? It was repeat infringements, but it was the penalty just short of the try line, which ended up with the try being awarded. Well, yeah, penalty try it was, in fact. No, it was actually just beforehand, my apologies. That one, but repeat infringements inside of the 22. Plumtree has to go. This is not working, and this is not how to play. That's not how any South African team should play. Says Nick, taking the roll and more. Vincent Tachuka going across to Fezambata now. Ethan Hooker, 2 carries for him. In quick succession, Jacob Stockdale tackling him a little bit high there. Big driving tackle made on Emmanuel Tachuka. Pick and go from Jaden Hendrickse. The Sharks, there's still that mentality to try and go on and win this game by the looks of it. So if you were playing Hamish, who would you want as the ref? Don't know. To be fair, like most referees get a lot of stick. That was a knock on from the Sharks, but they will go back for another offside. Looks like Vincent Cock trying to stretch out some cramp, and big bumper from Esterhuizen. Sits down Rob Herring, and that is a try that was much needed for the Sharks. Esterhuizen showing exactly what he can do. I saw the penalty try and was surprised nobody walked for that. I thought penalty try always came with a yellow as standard, says Yanko. And O'Toole pulled down the maul after last morning, says Jimbo there, but the quick tap taken and boom, just bumps him off there, Andre Esterhuizen. Do you think we sell the Sharks team now before they aren't worth anything? Says Martin. That's a classic Andre the Giant try. I mean, a high-scoring 15 minutes, says Big Rick. Yeah, both sides when the fatigue started setting in, but now Jordan Hendrickse lining up the kick. It'll be his first of the day. Oh, the ball's fallen off. He's going for the drop kick and still gets it over Jordan Hendrickse with 2 Ulstermen charging at him as well. It was possibly ahead of the mark, but I think it's going to be called as all right just because of the fact that he did so well to still get it over. And while Sharks catching their second breath, says Rhea there. Sharky said not dead yet. And yeah, it seems like maybe the bench is making the difference at the moment in the mentality. Even if the Sharks can get away from this game with 2 points, they currently have a bonus point for getting the 4 tries. And the clapping there from Lilia. And there as well. I'll go like this. But now Vincent Tachuka nicely smashed backwards by the defence of Sheridan. That's a name that we haven't said so far. Please take care of your voice. We need you for the big Leinster Munster game. I'm not actually covering that game, believe it or not. I'm going to be missing that one and then picking up from Zebra versus Stormers. Oh, a little bit of a fumble of the ball there for David McCann. What just happened, says Mohadeen. Is your clock on the screen accurate? It is correct. Yes, 73 minutes through at the moment. An 8 points difference between these two sides. We play ugly, but we know how to win ugly, says Nick there. Yeah, both sides already having the bonus point from this game, and there is a potential that we could see 7 points between the teams from this game. Just fire Plumtree. Says, I always mess up your name slightly. Puma Lelo. Hopefully I said that correctly. That's terrible. Southern Hemisphere biased, Hamish, says Jimbo. It is a little bit, but it's nothing personal. It's just I have to do some admin for the cricket team before tomorrow morning, and I won't have time if I do the game. Yeah, just fire the plum, says Albert. Now Nathan Doak. Ready to feed the scrum in. 1 try, 1 penalty. Definitely needed. Conversion decides tie a win. Now Never Sharks and Plumtree out, says Nick. Now ball is about to be fed in. Come on, Ulster, says Bruce. Now breaking off the back. Nicely tackled low by Jordan Hendrickse. Oh, a little bit of hesitation there. How's it going, Hamish? Says Darren. And what a dope, says Big Rig. Now 6 minutes remaining. This is where Ulster will just continue to try and use a few more seconds. How you doing the Stormers game? I am going to be picking up from that Stormers game. And then straight after the Stormers game, I'm actually going out and about as well. Now, nice run from Werner Cock down the wing. He might have knocked it on. Yes, he did. If Ulster get any points, it's over, says Yanko. And we have got there about how's it going. But yeah, doing very well. Excited for this next game between Zebra and the Stormers. Zebra and the Stormers. I'm curious to know if it's going to be close. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on that Leinster-Munster one while I'm doing all the scoring and whatnot and putting it into the tablet. But yeah, it will be an intriguing type of game. That one kicking off in only around 30 minutes time. Sharks have kept Stockdale very quiet. Says Jimbo, and imagine if the Sharks still win this somehow, then Plumtree's still safe. Says Albert. Do let me know also, is that Munster-Leinster game, that will be free to air in Ireland, won't it? For that match because it's the Irish Derby, or are they showing one of the other games instead this round? Surely the Stormers got Zebra in the bag, at least one game. Must go well, says Yanko. Yeah, there were talks heading into this game of the South African clean sweep for this round, but unless the Sharks can score themselves some points in the very near future, doesn't look too likely. Scrum penalty are far out. They have got themselves a scrum from about 15 metres from their own line here, the Sharks. Surely the Stormers got Zebra. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? Imagine if Sharks still win this somehow, and Plumtree's still safe. But that 5 minutes is going to tick by. Klekane still waiting to make his way onto the field. He's not going to be given a huge amount of time here. In fact, he's probably going to be given about 3 minutes at the end of the game. Be asked to do some sort of miracle for the Sharks team. But normally the scrums throughout this game have been a guaranteed penalty for the Sharks. Intent says Jamie Knox. But now ball is put in. Going to be a big push and it's gone down. So it's going to be a reset, but that used up an extra 30 seconds here. Scrum reset will use up another 20 to 30. And just like that, strategically using some of that clock that is remaining. We see there, Lukanyo, the fact that a player like him gets 4 minutes at the end of the game just seems a bit rough. And Stormers will keep Zebra scoreless. So here's Jimbo there. Right, we do see the two changes being made now with the 4 remaining on the clock. Vincent Tichuka will make his way off of the field. And then also Lukanyo, he will make his way on. And I think that's going to be for Lorenzo Julius. And not like I don't love a last-minute comeback. But this is getting increasingly impossible. Says Yanko there. And old Juicy Donut says Big Rig. Yeah, Julius, big smile on his face, even though they are losing. Which is good to see. I don't like it, but it is smart, says Big Rig. In fact, while we're at the last 4 minutes of this game, we might as well get a few predictions for that Leinster-Munster game, ladies and gents. Do you think Leinster at home are going to be able to do it easily like they did last year? Or do you think it will be a little bit closer between the two sides? I'm hoping for a close game anyway. And any game that we don't cover is normally guaranteed to be a good close game. So that might actually work in our favour. Munster Munch says Big Rig there. Now still waiting for the scrum reset. 4 minutes still on the clock. Inside of their 22 here, the Sharks. All the wink from Jaden Hendrickson. Of course, the last time that we saw that was actually up against Munster in those Golden Point kickoffs. 25-16 to Leinster. Says Jamie. Cool story, bro. That's so cool. Awesome. I've seen Leinster get at least 30. Says Big Rig. Oh, that one's going to go down. Depends who Leinster picks to play. Says Albert. They've got a pretty strong looking side for that match. 1 second. I'll let you know the lineup. I haven't got it as a pop-up, but I have got it here. Leinster are considered as huge favourites, by the way. Munster are $8.75 bigger underdogs than Ulster, although Ulster proved here they're going to do well. And Leinster bonus point win game is at Croke Park, so neutral venue. There's Jimbo there, 42-19 to Leinster. And also one of Ulster's props should probably be Sinbin at this stage. It won't matter. Although he was taken off earlier on, Tom O'Toole. But yeah, they've got James Lowe, Gary Ringrose back. Sam Prendergast, Gibson Park returns as well for Leinster. Josh Van der Flare as the number 8. James Ryan and Argus Sneeman as the locking duo. Furlong's back. So, Yeah, pretty good looking side. Another penalty goes the way of the Sharks. For Munster, they've got a decent looking side. They've got Tyke Byrne, Jack O'Donoghue's there, Thicke Abraham's out on the wing, Daly's at fullback, Crowley's at 10, but yeah, very intriguing. And well done, Ulster, says Mark. And there as well. Now, another change taking place for, I believe that was Ulster this time. Making the change, Connor McKee making his way on for the final 3 minutes of this game. This game's hit a grinding halt, ladies and gents. Waiting for the Sharks line out. They are currently sitting around 30 metres out from their own line. I wouldn't mind another big hit on Vernicock. Says Young Cohen, nicely taking that line out time for Emmanuel Tuchuk. Another miscommunication in the Sharks backline, but picked up by Edward van der Merwe. Told to release that one on Reyes, the Hazen pick and go. Trying to bulldoze his way over Flannery. Now short side. Lorenzo Julius is still on the field. So, Lucanio I'm not sure who he actually made his way on the field for. I assume it was actually the Makazole Mapimpi red card, wasn't it? That ended up with him switching. Leinster versus Munster. Live commentary on RTE1 radio. Says Michael. So is it on RTE? Is that like just the commentary rather than the visual coverage as well, Michael, for that game? Because I know that they normally do one game, a live TV coverage on TG4, says Mark for that one. And I'll start holding on, says Roof there too. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Another little shuffle. Plumtree needs to go. If you can't win with this lineup, then he shouldn't be coaching, says Craig Smith. 2 minutes remaining in Ulster, just looking to use up the time on the clock. The thing is, getting out of this game, stopping the Sharks from getting a bonus point, will be massive for Ulster's confidence. Thought about the offload, decides against it for James Hume. Let's have a pretty much full-strength team. Yeah, and the fact that they've got pretty much all their internationals back could be a pretty one-sided type of game. And how was Julius's game? Big hype about him when he came on the scene. He's had a mixed bag. He's had some good runs in there, but also has made a couple little mistakes that have cost the Sharks a bit. But then that's what normally is expected of a young player. I think 34 is going to be the final. Yeah, it looks like Ulster are just packing up shop now. A minute remaining on the halfway line. It will be frustrating for the Sharks fans. I know, in fact, no, they're going to go for the box kick instead. That means that the Sharks will get one last attack. The Northern Hemisphere teams really do well in the Southern Hemisphere, so this is a really encouraging from Ulster. Are Ulster playing the clock? They were a little bit, then they went for the kick, and they've actually managed to retain that kick as well. Now going for a kick in behind from Flannery. Needs that one to curve more, and it's going to go dead. Okay, Ulster may have made a massive mistake here trying to run this ball and trying to kick it, keeping it alive for the later stages. What is the odds on Leinster and Munster? Leinster are considered as $1.05 favourites. Munster, $8.75. So Munster are actually, I believe, one of the biggest underdogs of the whole round, with maybe the exception of Benetton, depending on what was the Benetton lineup like. No, they're a pretty strong-looking side in terms of their lineup. So I would say Munster, biggest underdogs of the whole round. You need an island to watch, or have a VPN. I need to listen on my PC. Says Michael, the Sharks really suck. New coach, methinks. Says hello, kitty girl. And Ulster had a disappointing season last year. They've started the season on fire. Did Ulster play well? They played extremely well. That first half, they were just very smart in the way that they were playing. Some beautiful link-up play as well. The try down the left wing was a thing of beauty. That got finished by Michael Lowry, that first one. In fact, the Sharks side can't beat Ulster at home is another embarrassment, says Keys. Yeah, it's been a rough day, although they have got themselves a scrum here, the Sharks. And if they win themselves a scrum penalty, which they are trying to do, front row's gone down, and we've got another scrum reset. But yeah, if they win the scrum penalty, they may actually consider taking on the 3 points here, the Sharks, to get themselves the bonus point. The extra one, that is. They would actually walk away from this game with 2 points, which is better than nothing, which it looked like could have been the case at the start. Well done, Ulster. Thanks so much, Hamish. Everyone have a great weekend, says Rhea. And of course, we are going to be back for that game between Zebra and the Stormers. That one kicking off in around 3 hours' time. Plumtree seems clueless and unable to get the value out of the Sharks squad. He must bugger off. Says Keeks. Now ready for the scrum again. I've just mentioned there, 17 Springboks in this Shark side at the moment being beaten by 8. Stockdale playing, he is. He looked like he got a little bit of a shoulder injury at one point, but overall he's had a solid enough game out on that wing. And that's a big scrum from Ulster, so not conceding the penalty that time. Hendrickson brothers linking up. Edward Fundermover passes to Ethan Hooker, who bumps off Michael Lowry, almost breaking through another offload, just throws the ball into the hands of Jacob Stockdale. Mistake from Hooker, and that will be the end of the game. Ulster win it. Werner Koch is extremely happy about it, and that one section of Ulster supporters, they will be absolutely loving what they have seen here. 34-26. And that is a statement and a half for Ulster players going to be in the Island camp. Bodes well for Ulster, as long as Ulster doesn't miss them in the normal games. I mean, it's better than the 17-0 or the 20-5. It's still not good. And a Plumtree on your bicycle, and Plumtree says Ian there too. And how can you have so much depth at the Sharks team and struggle so badly? Yeah, the handling was poor from the Sharks today. Their discipline early on was letting them down too. But just not what they would have wanted for this game. 8 points difference. That's pretty much worse than losing by about 15 because you were so close to getting that extra bonus point. Now, they do get 1 point from this game, though. That is for the 4 or more tries that they were able to score. Brilliant, says John. See you at the Stormers game over, says Albert. Yeah, so we will see you guys in about 3 hours' time. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, first of all, having some food. Then from there, I'll be sitting down watching a bit of Munster versus Leinster while also getting all the cricket stuff sorted out for my team, as there is that deadline of tomorrow morning. We have got there Stockdale was in good form ahead of the Autumn Internationals, says John. Yeah, he's looking solid out there. Michael Lowry from the back was extremely strong in this game too. Crowley or Prendergast, who's going to show up? That's the big question. But I think that there are a lot of implications on the line in terms of who gets that 10 jersey. They're just showing Jacob Stockdale as he kicked that ball into touch. You can see how much it meant to this Ulster side. Thanks again, Hamish. Top stuff. Says John, thank you very much. A rugby over cricket, in my opinion. Says Big Rig. Yeah, in terms of sports, I would probably go a bit the same, but it's not so much like I'm not watching cricket. I am like doing the scorebook and helping put that all in for the junior team, as they did play about 24 hours ago. However, there are no enormous Australian tackling lads in the cricket, says Big Rig. Well, to be fair, have you seen the height of the Australian bowling attack? They're big boys. You know, Hazelwood, Cummins, Stark, they're all sitting around 6'4". Cam Green's about 6'8". So if they had a little bit more bulk to them, they'd probably be decent locks. Look at their high expectations from the Stormers now, says Youngko. And Sharks coach is bad. And come on, Munster, says Dennis in there too. And Stockdale, big time player, says Ruth. And there as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. The end score, 34 points to 26 in favour of Ulster. Man of the match goes to was Nathan Doak in the end. Some great kicking off the tee. And also helped a lot when it came to those tries that were scored. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all in around 2.5 hours' time for that next stream between the Stormers and also Zebra.